I did. I turned the switch on. Yeah. YouTube is going live. I think our live stream to 7747. We're working on that. Give us 1 minute. Who did? Oh, 1 second. We'll be live stream. Give you one. All right, live on YouTube, live on Facebook. I think our audio should be fixed now on the live stream. Our internal recording is indeed live. Let me get back here. Mayor, whenever you are ready, sir.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Doug, if you'd call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Rami Rice,
Here.
Councilman Began.
Present.
We have Councilwoman Organ,
Yes.
Councilman Kaplan,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Schwartz,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Katz. I don't see him right now, but he was just with us. I'm sure he'll be joining. Mayor Dunleavy.
Here.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by resolution number 226-2020, sending a copy to the newspapers officially designated for 2021. By way of resolution number 111-2020, filing a copy of the Township Clerk's office and post it on the Municipal Building Bulletin Board, and the mayor hereby directs that this statement be included in the minutes.
Thank you, Doug. Good evening, everybody. Tonight, Township Administration present at our meeting, Dean Kaczynski, Township Manager, Doug Roussillon, Township Clerk, Ron Goodman, Volunteer Cable Caster Extraordinaire, and from the law firm of McCusker, Anselmi, Rosen, and Carvelli, John Shadanian. Upcoming events, the next televised council meeting will take place on Tuesday, January 4th at 7 p.m. This will be Zoom, and given the numbers that we've seen, we're going to be staying on Zoom for a little while, so I just look to know that. Municipal offices will be closed Friday, December 24th in observance of Christmas, and Friday, December 31st in observance of New Year's Day. 2022 parking decals are available for purchase at the Township Clerk's office. Please reach out to them with any questions. You can email clerk@tnecnj.gov. The council met in closed session to discuss the following: advisory board interviews, COVID update, PSE&G diversion, energy aggregation, long day, personnel, contracts, legal issues and/or opinions regarding any items on open session agenda, litigation updates, and Oprah. I do want to tell the public that we are moving forward with the energy aggregation process. We've reached out, we've met with some people. I will tell you that the information we've received so far from consultants is that we have to take this slowly and do it right. They're going to help us as we move forward, but this is not something that you're going to see happen in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or even a month. The market also is much higher, and so it'll be interesting to see where we can get our savings found. So it will take some time, but I want to assure everybody that we are moving forward with it. And we're going to be giving out more and more information as we go through the process. And whatever firm we link up with, that firm will be reaching out, doing community meetings, explaining to them the system and the process. So everybody will be informed and have all the information they need to make an informed decision. But again, this is in process and it's going to take some time. So I'm asking the public to have some patience with this. Okay, presentations. Certificates of recognition for the 2021 Board of Education election, people who were elected. Ms. Fisher, Mr. Klein, and Mr. Rodriguez. I think we heard from Ms. Fisher and Mr. Klein that they were not attending. I did not see anything. I did not see anything from Mr. Rodriguez.
Yeah, Mr. Rodriguez wrote me as well. The three were not able to make it, but I did mention to Mr. Klein, I was able to speak to him by phone, that we did have proclamations because council wants to congratulate them on winning the election as trustees for the Board of Education. And we also want to work collaboratively with them to the extent that we can in the upcoming year, whether it's shared services, making sure our children have the best possible outcomes through collaboration with council. So I did ask them when they have time to let us know if our next meeting is going to be after the new year. We can invite them back at another time. But I did tell them about the proclamations, and the clerk arranged for them to get to each of them in hard copy. So we do want to wish them congratulations, and we will leave it at that until a time in the future when we could all get together.
Okay, thank you.
Mr.
All
Mayor?
right, moving on. Certificate, yes, Javon.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to the council for acknowledging this, and hopefully that this will be a practice that we do on an annual basis or whenever there are elections, to continue that collaborative opportunity with the Board of Education.
Okay. Second item, certificates of recognition, Advisory Board on Community Relation members, Mickey Shalane, Wendy Weinberg, DeSante, and Patricia White. Are they here?
I believe, Mr. Mayor, that Wendy DeSante was able to join us. We did hear back from Wendy.
Okay,
Want me to bring her in quick?
sure, if you can.
Wendy.
And Javon, if you want to do the honors, since you're the liaison.
Sure.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, Wendy.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for this recognition. I just like to make a quick comment. I just want to say congrats to everyone who's being recognized tonight. It's been rewarding being a part of the Advisory Board on Community Relations, getting to know my fellow chairs and members going back 15 years to Marty Greenwald of blessed memory, co-chairing with David Langford and working with Patricia, Mickey, Yassine, and all our members. Our objective has always been to provide outreach and inclusion for our entire community. We know how important this is to Teaneck. Thank you again.
Thank you,
Wendy.
Wendy. Thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for your service to the community. We greatly appreciate it.
Yes. And Wendy, thank you for summing up the mission of community relations. As you mentioned, it is very important to the council as well as to the community. Thank you for your long-standing service. And please convey as well to Pat and Mickey. Unfortunately, they weren't able to join us tonight, but we really appreciate the dedication, because each of you served for many, many years on that advisory board, and it didn't go unnoticed. So thank you again.
Thank you again. I will be sure to talk to them, and they deserve it as well.
Thank you. Okay, next, certificates of recognition for the Helping Hands Food Pantry. Do we have anybody here, Doug, for that? Do you know?
I informed quite a few folks. I see we have Karen here. I'm going to bring Karen McAvoy in real quick. We just have a few attendees here, sorry. And I have a few certificates to sort through. Hello, Karen.
Hi, everybody. I have Tony from Stop and Shop. I think he's having a problem getting his audio.
I can't find him right now. Oh, I see. Oh, I see Mr. Vogel also. I'm bringing him in. I had certificates made up for Amarone, Butterflake Bakery, Teaneck Road Hot Bagels, a Town Hall favorite, Stop and Shop off of American Legion, which I believe Tony was representing. We had something for the Brunelli and Muller families and to Mr. Jonathan Vogel also, who just showed up.
Tony says he's here. He's here, but he can't get in, or you can't see him.
I don't see him in the attendance list here. I'll look for him in the meantime. Let me try to get them Zoom. But I see Mr. Vogel's here also. Deputy Mayor Katz, would you like to say anything?
I'll let Karen do the honors of the director, but I will say that Karen has been working with the entire volunteer team, Roz, and several others to keep up with the needs of the community, specifically even more so now in COVID. It was a real stress for Karen and the team, and quite frankly, we heard it at the council level, to not have a home in the middle of COVID. And I know that Mr. Vogel is on, who has a property in that area, and it's in between, let's say, as far as use, stepped up and really immediately worked very hard to try to get them in and save the pantry. So I can speak on that specific, and I know a lot of these other food vendors. They make they make the pantry's wheels turn every day, and it's for many people, 110 families or more is just a number, but it's a lot of people. A lot of people rely on this Teaneck Food Pantry and the hard work that Karen and Roz and all the volunteers every single week. So I want to personally say thank you and congratulations to everyone who's been given an award tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
Thank you. Thank you for everything that you do. You make such a difference in people's lives, especially during this time. The numbers are just incredible of those who are in need here. So again, you're just doing a tremendous job, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts in what you've been able to do for the community at large. Thank you.
It's a great honor, and you're too kind. I want to recognize the volunteers and the vendors and the volunteers who stock shelves and clean and manage and the food pantry week in and week out to make sure every Teaneck family is delicious and healthy food. So thank you so much.
Great. Thank you. Yes, Karen?
I just want to say to Ms. Vogel, from all of us at Helping Hands, you stepped up at the last minute and helped us and gave us a temporary home, and it is so appreciated. We went from a small pantry of serving maybe 70 to 100 families a month. We are doing 500 to 700 families a month. Food insecurity is a real thing, and it's our neighbors. It's so close at home, and you just came in like Superman and saved the day. This recognition is all to you. You and the people who have dedicated their services and their donations have simply been amazing to keep our pantry running. Thank you just doesn't say enough. And this recognition doesn't say enough. I wish you could see the faces every month that we help, and it's hundreds of families. So thank you so much for being there for us. Thank you.
Karen, can you just tell everyone how they can get in touch with the Helping Hands Pantry, either through email or phone, if you just put it out there?
You could Google us, Facebook, Instagram. We have a web page. We are up to date on pretty much everything with phone numbers and email addresses. You just email, reach out, and we're here to help the community.
Give them a number, Karen.
A phone number?
Yeah.
201-833-1600.
Okay.
It goes right to our, isn't that it? That part goes right to our phone that we have at the pantry now. It's
Okay,
forwarded.
great. Okay, great.
It's Helping Hands Food Pantry on Instagram. On Facebook, it's Teaneck Pantry. And the webpage is Teaneck Pantry also.
Okay, terrific.
If you Google Helping Hands Food Pantry of Teaneck, you will find all that information.
Great. But great.
I had a little speech that I wanted to say at Thanksgiving. It's a little corny, but it's very heartfelt. Even though we're a pantry, we are the Rolex of pantries. And inside this watch, we have gears. And gears are small, gears are big, and everybody here is a gear. And without that one gear working, we don't have the place to tell time. Our face will always be Janice Michelle. And we will keep our clock ticking in her memory. So I thank the community and everybody with the donations to help keep our face of time going. So I appreciate everything that everybody's doing.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you,
Coming up
Jonathan.
next.
Thank you, Wendy. Thank you for everything you do. And as you said, we all miss her, but your daily work keeps her, Janice, alive in all our hearts. So thank you.
Stop and Shop, Hot Bagels, Butterflake. I cannot thank you all enough for being such loyal donators and supporters. Tony from Stop and Shop has stepped up immensely. Every time we need anything, they're there for us. They're there for us, corporate, his personal. He's a phone call away from me all the time. So all these places have stepped up immensely. It's overwhelming, and I very much appreciate the support.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. All right, moving on. Certificate of Appreciation, William Moses. I'm not sure who put in. Does anybody want to have anything to say? Go ahead.
Is Mr. Moses here?
I think he is. I'm just scrolling down the list. Give me 1 minute. I see Mr. Moses.
Oh, there it is. Hello, Mr. Moses. You're on mute, sir. Mr. Moses, if you could go off mute. Ellie, if you want to say you wanted to say something?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I was on council when the idea of putting up a cellular tower came to Teaneck. And at the time, well, everyone takes it for granted now, the entire area of Route 4, the Teaneck area, was a dead zone, and it was a danger zone because there was no cell service there. And the whole park and Palisades Avenue was also a dead zone. And we were against cell towers. That was the thing. All the cell towers had to go to the Board of Adjustments, or maybe it was the planning board. I don't know. And ended up on a building behind Cedar Lane. A private vendor ended up making a lot of money because the township was against cell towers, and that was the position. It wasn't a unique position for Teaneck, but that was the way of the world at the time. And anyways, we were successful in recognizing the need for cellular service certainly on Route 4 and by the parks. We got this beautiful tree put in right next to the PSC&G station. And it was done a little bit with protest, to be quite honest with you. And the manager at the time hired a consultant to tell us how to do it. So basically revenue that we would have made that year, we went down to the consultant. Who knows what the results were of that consultant. We're fortunate that we have Mr. Moses, who stepped up a few years ago and is the chairman and the entire advisory board for our cellular subcommittee or advisory board. And it's not that we want him to retire or give him that certificate. We're giving it to him because he's probably very lonely on the board by himself. But over the years, he's also met with the different attorneys, reviewed contracts. At one point, we had someone who was bullying us to force us to put antennas on top of our light poles without trying to give us any revenue. And he was part of that as well, to try to protect the town and give the residents the money that they deserve. I don't think that ever materialized, but at least he had the knowledge. So with that, that is why we are here today, to give Mr. Moses his certificate as a thank you. And we can continue as the, you don't have to only be the single person. If you find anyone else to join you on as the chair of the Cellular Tower Advisory Board, Cellular Service Advisory.
Well, thank you, William, for all the advice and good counsel you've given the council over the years. Would you like to say something?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't do this for any recognition. I just actually, you guys put in all your time and effort, and, you know, the least I could do is take advantage of what I do for work and use that expertise to help you guys out. It was more than my pleasure, and anytime I could help you in the future with anything cellular related, I'm more than happy to help out.
Okay. All right, anybody else have anything to say? No? Well, great. Well, again, thank you, William, for everything that you do. We
Thank you,
appreciate
everybody.
it. Okay.
Thanks, Mr. Moses.
Thank you.
All right. Next, veteran-friendly community.
I believe that we have Mr. Peter Lupo, and AJ Luna here to talk about Teaneck becoming a veteran-friendly community. Officially, on paper. Obviously, we've always been quite friendly to our veterans.
Mr. Luna, there you go. Hi,
There's
Mr.
some World War II vets that want to talk to you.
Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Very good.
Well, listen, I just wanted to say good evening, council members. Mayor, good to see you again. I know everybody has been working hard, and we've been had a tremendous year dealing with the pandemic and trying to make sure all our residents are safe and try to provide the services they need. But as the former director of Veteran Services of the County of Bergen, and also the co-founder of the NJSOS Veteran Stakeholders, and most importantly, a U.S. Army veteran, I just want to commend everybody on this call for always looking for ways to continue to support our veterans. That's very important to me, obviously, and it's very important to a lot of people in the community. Our veterans need to be recognized and need to be supported, and also need to know that their elected officials in their communities have their best interests and want to make sure that they're successful and they succeed. And with that, I'm very excited that Teaneck is going to become a veteran-friendly municipality. And to explain more, Pete, I'm going to kick it over to you so you can explain to everybody exactly what that is.
Yeah, good evening, Mayor, council members. Thank you very much for having us. So I am the Vice President of Governmental Outreach for the New Jersey Veterans Chamber of Commerce. Like AJ, I'm a veteran. I was in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Kuwait, 3 different tours. So definitely AJ is a brother of mine in a very figurative sense, but also in a real sense. So basically what you're adopting tonight just again shows everything I've been hearing about Teaneck. It's just a real true community of caring. You know, if it's Mr. Moses volunteering, if it's the food pantry, I can see obviously it's a community that really cares about people and does what it can to help where you believe is appropriate. So the Veterans Chamber of Commerce, we have what's called the Veteran Friendly Municipality Program, and we ask for a few things. And to give you a little background, a little bit about the travails that people who are veterans go through, especially in the world of jobs and business. Imagine if you were a mom and pop shop and you mobilized and you left for a year and a half away from your business. And if you're a landscaper, you're an accountant, you're a lawyer, or whatever it is, you have to pretty much shut shop. You have to shut shop. I mean, you're the only person really running it. We have a very small business. It means you pick up, you go, you deploy to wherever you're told to go, and you come back and you have no business. You're gone for a year and a half. In the case of a landscaper, your people it's not that people don't care. It's that they have lives that go on. Grass continues to grow, weeds need to be pulled, plants to be planted, and before you know it, you come back and your entire business is gone. So what the Veteran Friendly Municipality Program, which you adopted, will do is allow veterans, one, if get a job. You give where appropriate, where you can hire a veteran. If it's a police department, if it's a DPW, whatever is available. The other thing we do too, since we're a Veterans Chamber of Commerce, we represent veterans businesses throughout New Jersey, is give an opportunity for veterans to have, a price preference, if you will, on bids. And the other thing we also ask for is you give us notice if any RFQs that come out. So we're able to categorize all members by area expertise. If you're an accountant, you have a construction business, or whatever it may be, we have a whole list of veteran members. A lot of them are service disabled as well. And what you do is we give notice. You give notice to us, and we alert our members to go ahead and bid against whatever it is, if it's painting or or landscaping, wherever it is. So what we ask for as veterans is not so much something more than average citizens would get, but more a matter of leveling out the playing field, giving us an opportunity to bid and be able to sort of get back where we would have been had we not deployed. So this is something that's encapsulated and enshrined in state law and now being adopted in TNEC. So with that, I'm very, very appreciative. I know AJ, we go around trying to, tell anyone about this program that we can. And, I just want to express my appreciation on behalf of the New Jersey Veterans Chamber of Commerce.
Great. Deputy Mayor Katz, and then Councilman Pagan.
First, obviously, we want to express our appreciation and thank you to you and to all the entire veteran community. There's nothing that makes me, and this is so small, but it's so meaningful to see one of our parking lots where it has reserved parking for veterans. It's really, it shows the sensitivity, and it shows the appreciation that on a township level. And there are other actions that we do obviously throughout the year for our veterans, but not enough. And then I want to also thank Councilman Pagan for bringing this to us and constantly keeping the veteran community in front of us to make sure that you're never forgotten. One of my best friends is the head of the VFW here at TNEC, and I know secondhand, obviously, from him, the trials and tribulations that he's dealt with after coming back from Vietnam. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, go ahead, Mike.
I want to thank Peter Lupo and AJ Luna for helping us make this happen for our veterans in TNEC. I'd also like to thank Councilman Keith Kaplan, Deputy Mayor Ellie Katz, Dean Kaczynski, and William Rupp for helping guide this process forward, because our veterans in TNEC are some pretty incredible people, and we are looking forward to helping them as much as possible as we continue to thank them for their service going forward. I recently spoke to Colonel McGilchrist and Sergeant Major Sills, and they too are excited about this initiative and mentioned how the Patriotic Observance Advisory Board supports this initiative for our veterans. So thanks again, everybody. We really appreciate you making this happen.
Councilman Kaplan, did you want to say something? Go ahead.
I did. I really just want to thank AJ Luna and Peter Lupo and the groups that have been advocating for this. From my family's experience, whether it was World War II or more recent with my uncles that served, my in-laws that served, I'm aware of the monumental amount of red tape that you guys have to go through on a daily basis. And when I first heard that they were trying to tie this up with the little red tape here with multiple hearings and various things, it's the smallest things that we could really do here, but I was happy to have a part to sort of streamline it so we can get this for you immediately and be able to give something back to our veterans. It really is what you say. Veterans come from all walks of life. I'm honored to speak at Memorial Day and Veterans Day about the service of people in town. And it's really just people that come from the house next door that walk in all walks of life, whether you're combat on a tank or you're a pharmacist. The Army needs pharmacists and dentists and everything else. And you really have people from all sources, and you do a wonderful job defending us on the home front. And I'm glad we could do something a little for you at home as well. So thank you for everything you've done. And think about you every time we take a look at the signs around town. And I'm glad to see that you'll be part of the contracts and various things that we put out from TNEC.
Thank you.
Anyone else on council have anything? Okay, and I just want to convey my thanks to all of you and all your brothers and sisters who made the commitment to serve this country in the way that you do. We wouldn't be here without you. And like Councilman Kaplan, I too have the honor of speaking at Veterans Day and Memorial Day here. And I can tell you, those are probably the two most nervous speeches I've had to give, because I want to get them right. I want to set the tone, and I want all of our residents who served in the military to understand just how grateful we are for everything that they've done. And we can never, ever forget you who are serving now and those that have served in the past. So again, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the kind words, everybody. Appreciate it. Appreciate your support.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay.
gentlemen. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
And council, just so you're aware, there's a resolution number 309 on the agenda tonight dealing with veterans, if I remember correctly, if I have the right number.
And members of the public can speak to that at Good and Welfare before we pass it as well.
Okay. Work session items, miscellaneous. What I'm going to do right now, because Dean just informed me just before the meeting, he would like to pull ordinance 62, 2021, which deals with amending and supplementing the drug and alcohol policy contained in the Personnel Policies and Procedure Manual. He just wants some more time to research this. It doesn't mean we're not going to have a policy. He just wants to make sure that he gets it right. So he just wants to pull it for now, and he will bring it back to us when he's finished with his research to make sure that it's done correctly. So does anybody have any objection? Okay, hearing none, then we'll pull 62, 2021 from the agenda for tonight. Any old business? Any new business?
Mr. Mayor?
John?
Yes, I'd like to share some information. Been speaking with Billy Dickerson, and we wanted to try to find a way that we could do a more collaborative work with the university. And they have coming up on Friday, January 21st, a basketball game between FGU basketball, men's basketball, and St. Francis in Brooklyn. And they'd like to declare it as TNEC night, as we have done in the past, working with David Langford. Previously, as an athletic director, we would have a TNEC night. So it's going to be held that night, Friday, January 21st at 7 p.m. It's going to feature the TNEC High School pep band at the halftime, 5-star premium residence choir, the TNEC Terpsichoreans. They will all be performing at the halftime, and there'll be $6 tickets for TNEC residents wearing your TNEC pride and proof of residency showing that you are a TNEC resident. You will be admitted at that price with your ID. It'll all be COVID protocols. And just wanted to kind of give a save the date for September 21st. We'll share more information at our next January 4th meeting. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Great. Thank you, council member. I just wish they were having their Manhattan game that night, so then I could go cheer my boys on as well. So
yeah.
If there's a flyer for that, Javon, let me know. I certainly can post it on the website and social media outlets.
Thanks, Dean. They don't have it just yet, but I asked them to send me something so that we could present at least for a save the date. But as soon as we have it, we'll be sure to share it with you.
Good, thank you.
Sure.
I want to give a little update on the ordinance and the issue surrounding the chicken coop, the chickens in town. We have received from our health officer And I think she's getting a little bit more information in from various towns, both in Bergen County and outside, that I asked for at the last meeting with respect to issues, complaints, anything related to having chickens in their township. So we're looking at that now. It's not that we're not doing anything, but we just got that stuff back from the health officer. And so we'll be moving on it soon, but I just want to let the public know that we are not dropping the ball here. We're just making sure, as I said in the last meeting, we cross Ts and dot Is and get all the information that we've asked for. So just so you know, that's what we're doing now, and we'll move forward with it. Any other new business? Okay. Communications,
I've got something.
Councilmember Organ.
Doug had circulated the letter regarding the early voting and the form of voting to all of us. And I just wanted to know if anybody had any comments about the content of the letter, or if we could maybe send it to the attorney for some polish and then review it and send it out.
Any comments on the letter regarding the election issues process issues that we wanted to make aware to the Board of Elections? Okay, I don't see any, so
I'm flattered.
we can just go ahead, do a little spit and polish on the letter and send it out. Okay? Less
Thank
spit,
you.
more polish. Okay?
John, I'll send that over tomorrow.
Okay, committee reports by council liaisons. Subcommittee listed item, presentation seeking letter of support for dispensary. I'm not sure who's taking that.
Councilman Kaplan, did you want to share anything?
You're on mute, Keith.
Sorry, which one are we up to? I was just taking a look at.
We're on the
Subcommittee.
The presentation?
Presentation, yeah.
Okay, so do we have the
Conway?
individual, Conway in the queue here?
Let me bring him in.
Okay, so for members of the public and council, you may recognize this from our last meeting. When applicants reach out to the town that want to apply for a license in order to request that the state license them to permit sale of recreational cannabis. This is through the CREMA Act and the regulations that they've created on the state level. They need municipal support, a statement of municipal support, which is in the form of a resolution with certain requirements that the state has mandated. So in order to effectively do that, you need the council to vote on whether or not the applicant has municipal support. So we've asked any applicants that want to come forward, and so far we have had a total of 2. The first appeared at our last meeting, and Mr. Martindale is the second. So we're going to ask him to come here and explain to us why the municipality should support his application to the state of New Jersey. And just for clarity, this is not if we grant this, they open up a store. This is a permission from the municipality to apply for a license, and it's one of many steps along the road to getting final approval to open in a specific location. So with that, if there are no other questions, I'll throw it to Mr. Martindale for to explain why he should get municipal consent.
Thank you, Councilman Kaplan. Good evening, Mayor Dunleavy, Deputy Mayor Katz, and the rest of the council. It's not just myself. I actually have my partners, Malik Ryan, Ryan Lugo, and our consultants, Mr. Frank Catania and Frank Saya. Is it possible to loop them in just so that we can have a more
Can they raise their hand so the clerk can see them?
Just got a few people listening in. So we have You said Ryan Lugo,
Correct.
Ryan, two Franks, and then Malik.
Yeah, Malik Wynn.
Awesome.
Ryan, the two Franks, and Malik. There you go. Sounds like a bad
It-
sitcom.
They're coming. Yeah, they're coming in. Just give it 1 minute. It's just taking a minute. I see we have one Frank. We have one Ryan, one Malik. I think we're missing one more Frank. Give it just a minute.
One other Frank.
It's just taking a second to get Frank in. Our bandwidth is working. Bear with us. Frank Saya is eventually going to come in there if you want. Oh, here he comes.
All right.
Gotta
Perfect.
love it. Thank you for your patience.
All right, when do we get started?
Sure. So, as Mr. Kaplan said, my name is Conway Martindale. 1/3 of the ownership group of Smoke and Ashes, the local cigar lounge in town. With me are my two partners, Malik Wynn and Ryan Lugo, and our consultants, Frank Catania and Frank Saya. They are assisting us in putting together the business plan to operate the proposed dispensary. Frank Catania is not only working with us, but he's working as a consultant with approximately half a dozen other potential dispensaries in the state, helping them put together operational plans, business plans, license application approval, while Frank Saya is also, like I said, one of our consultants. He is what's called a red badge license holder in Colorado, meaning that he has a license. They allow vertical licenses in the state of Colorado, which means they can have a license in every portion of the cannabis business, from cultivation to testing to delivery to retail and everything in between. He's been working with Frank Catania for the last 3 years throughout the country. Frank Saya is going to be helping us with the potential build out, relations and compliance with the state, and assisting us in training with any potential employees that we have. Now, as I stated before, we operate and own the cigar lounge in town. We've been around now for almost 2.5 years. We're familiar faces in town, so a lot of the people that have stopped by there. Like I said, we've been open now. Not only have we never had an incident there, but on the contrary, I can't count the amount of times customers have come in to the cigar lounge and said, thank you for opening this place, because we didn't have a whole lot to choose from when it came to socializing for adults. Now, we not only have the customers coming in thanking us and gain a rapport with the community because of the cigar lounge, but we also give back. And I think I alluded to this in an email that I sent to the council, showing a list of people that are supportive of us potentially opening and operating this dispensary. The very food pantry, I believe the woman's name is Karen, if I'm not mistaken. That very food pantry we had given donations to during Thanksgiving and the holidays the past couple of years. We've also done car washes with proceeds to go to the high school football team. So we've always done things for the community, and we intend to continue doing that through the lounge. And if we're able to open up this dispensary, continue to do that with the proceeds for that as well. Now, we're not going to sit here and try to convince you that just because we have a cigar lounge and operating that successfully in town, that we can open up a dispensary in town. It's not a direct one-to-one, especially considering there's not going to be any consumption of anything in the dispensary. Whereas in the cigar lounge, obviously you can not only purchase cigars, but sit down and enjoy a cigar as well. It's not necessarily a comparable business, but that's why we brought in experts. That's why we brought in Frank Catania. That's why we brought in Frank Saya, so that the customers of the establishment, if we're so granted to get the letter of support and get the license from the state, the customers will be comfortable, the public will be comfortable. We want to operate functionally and successfully so that it's not only beneficial for us, but beneficial for the town. We think this is going to be a financial windfall for the town as well. So I'm going to throw it to Frank Catania to begin, just kind of talking about how he can assist with the setup and the operation of the dispensary.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having us. Myself and Frank Saya, even though he lives in Colorado now, have been childhood friends. We both grew up in Passaic County in New Jersey. After Frank was done with college, he eventually moved out to Colorado. He's been out there for quite some time now. And Frank has been, as Conway mentioned, he is a red badge holder. And not only in Colorado does he have a license, he's also involved in the cannabis industry as well in Massachusetts, as well as in Illinois. So he has plenty of knowledge on every level of the cannabis field. And as Conway indicated, out in Colorado, you're entitled to a vertical license. New Jersey is not permitting a vertical license, which means you cannot hold an interest in more than one of the 6 different licenses of which the state is offering. And guys, just to point one thing out, which I wanted, because initially I know Councilman Kaplan indicated about the letters of support. Just this past Friday, I believe it was on December 10th, the CRC came out with a new ruling that the townships are only allowed now to issue letters of support or letters of resolution equal to or less than the number of dispensaries of which they are permitting in that town. I think the CRC did that in order to limit the crazy number of applications which they are going to be having to review. So again, any letter of resolution or letter of support from the town would have to be limited to the number of particular licenses that you issued, all right, for that particular license group. I have been involved in the cannabis industry, let's say the cannabis field, since back in 2019 when I thought that the Senate was going to pass it. Frank Saya, together with myself and a group of individuals, were starting to prepare for recreational cannabis to come into the state of New Jersey. Unfortunately, it did not pass the Senate at that time. We could not garnish enough votes. And since that time, we have continued to proceed forward until obviously it went to referendum last November. We thought that by now it would have been up and running, but it's taken some time for the CRC to set forth the regulations. And as I'm sure that you all have been told, there are 6 different categories, and a town has the right to approve or deny any one of those categories, whether it be from cultivation, which is basically to grow. You have wholesale, you have distribution, you have manufacturing, which is the manufacturing, guys, is basically the infusion, marijuana infused products. Has to do whether they're pills, whether they are, you're not allowed to have gummies in New Jersey. You're not allowed to have anything in New Jersey as of yet, which is any kind, which is appealing to anyone under the age of 21 years old. That may change in the future, but as of now, no. So basically cartridges as well as pills, which all contain a THC or a combination of THC together with CBD. And since that time, Frank Saya and I have put together a team which not only has knowledge, all right, of the cannabis field, but also has in-depth knowledge of the regulations that the state of New Jersey has passed, because they are ever changing. As I said, just last Friday, they came out at 8 o'clock at night with the new regulation. So it is a moving target, and a lot of towns, this is, I believe, the 3rd town that Frank Say and I are appearing before to meet with the mayor and council and to answer a lot of questions that usually the council people have that they don't know about the cannabis industry.
If I can interrupt you, and I just want to make sure you're the right person to answer this. Which types of licenses, because you did mention that they're not allowing the vertical licenses. Which type of licenses would you be interested in applying for in terms of what you're seeking a letter of support for?
So just to be clear, this is for retail. So this would be for dispensary.
Okay.
Yep,
And
that's.
I just want to point something else out, Frank. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that's quite.
We are having in no way, because I know there's been some confusion about this, because just because both things are smoked doesn't mean one has anything to do with the other. So because we own a cigar lounge, there's been some speculation by some town residents and some others that we intend on having the dispensary inside the cigar lounge. And we just want to make perfectly clear that, number one, the town didn't zone the area for that. So that's first and foremost. But even with that, we're very proud of the cigar lounge that we've built, and we plan on building it, and we want it to be a staple of the community. The dispensary is completely and totally a separate entity, and the two demographics of customer don't necessarily overlap. They're two different things. So we just want to make clear to the council and the town that these are going to be two separate entities. One doesn't have anything to do with the other.
And let me,
that's for sure.
Frank,
I just think Councilwoman Organ had a question. I just want to throw it to her first.
Sure.
I just, if you could let us know your plan, I think that's what this presentation is. We've already dealt with the state and we know the different licenses, but tell us about you and tell us what you're looking to have in Teaneck and tell us why we should give you a letter of support. I think that's what the presentation should be tonight. Tell us about the dispensary you'd like to put here and the letter of support that you'd like for it.
Great, thank you. Well, and I'll pass it on to Frank Sayers, so Frank can tell you about his background because that's going to be part of our presentation as well. What we're looking for is we are looking for a letter of support with respect to a retail dispensary in town. We do not have real estate yet because the particular zoning presently is very, very restrictive. We've been going by day after day to see if another piece of property in that particular small zone becomes available, which it has not, but we are continuously looking. We are looking to come in as a team together with both Conway, Malik, and Ryan. We were contacted by them. We met with them initially about a year ago, and together with our experience and their community ties and the incredible business they have run in town now, together with their good reputation, we thought Teaneck would be a good fit for us, right? Between their community ties as well as our experience. And again, this is not, and Conway, I don't know if you submitted to the council or not, the renderings of what a typical one of our dispensaries would look like.
Not as of yet, but I will.
Okay, guys, we just want to make sure that you'll see when you see these pictures, a dispensary which we looking to be anywhere from probably 2,500 to 4,000 square feet. It looks like an Apple store. And sometimes you have people think that it looks like almost like a drug den. It is absolutely not. We have to have security around the clock. We have different areas, staging areas in which people are allowed outside, inside. They do not touch the product inside the facility, and they pay for it and exit in another part of it. With that in mind, I don't want to take up all the time here. Frank Sayers is on board with us. If he can just give you a little bit of his background, and the reason both Frank and I are here is because, again, with Conway, Malik, and Ryan, we just thought we sat down, we hit it off well, and I think between what they have to offer and what Frank and I have to offer, I think we could provide Teaneck with a very, very successful and professional dispensary. Frank?
Hi, folks. Can you hear me? So I've been here in Colorado now 28 years. I'm a Montclair State graduate. My father was a physician in North Jersey and North Haledon for 40 years. Out of school, I went into the pharmaceutical industry, progressed from there, ended up getting married, came out here to Colorado, been here now again, married 28 years. The opportunity existed here in Colorado about 11 years ago to get involved in marijuana, recreational, medical, etc. And I always wanted to go back to the roots of helping folks who had ailments and maybe an alternative to using opiates. And what we ended up doing here in Colorado is we probably have about 600 plus veterans that now use products and formulations and pill formats, things like that actually have gotten them off opiate addictions. And one of my reasons was for reaching out to New Jersey. And I did speak with Murphy's office a couple of years ago, spoke with his health director, told him I have something that will shut down your opiate problem in New Jersey. And they were interested, but they couldn't get through the licensing process very quickly. And so now this is the effort that Frank and I and Conway and Ryan are trying to move forward with. And this situation in Colorado is, like Frank said, it's not like walking into an opium den. You have opium den. You have to show a license. You have to show ID at the door. You have to show it at the window. You have to show it when you're purchasing your product.
Right. I mean, we definitely get as a council the concept of, the benefits, and we've discussed those as a group a lot. I think what we're really trying to get at is if it's between 2,500 and 4,000, you're not looking for a micro license. You're looking for a full-scale conditional license dispensary or a one-year dispensary.
That's correct. We're looking for a conditional, of which once we have it, and the reason we're looking for a conditional at this time is because we do not have real estate. Once we acquire the real estate, I'm sure you know we have 120 days to convert that to an annual at that time.
Right. And if you are able to get the conditional license, who would be running the day-to-day operations?
Initially, it would be both myself and Frank, together with Malik, Ryan, and Conway. And as part of our consulting, what we do is not only do we build out the facility, but as we get closer and closer to finishing the facility, we take into account, we assist them, we sit down with them, we interview the prospective employees, we hire them as well as train them in every aspect of a dispensary.
So, Councilman Kaplan, so like I said before, we've gained a great rapport with the town, and we want to continue that. We want there to be a friendly, familiar face when they walk in. So, but at the same time, we want it to be functional. We want it to be successful. So that's why we thought this was the perfect combination with myself, my team at Smoke and Ashes, and the two Franks, because there they get the familiar face, but then they also get the expertise that the dispensary will run functionally and successfully.
Okay, we're kind of pressed for time, guys. So I know Councilmember Rice, did you have a question?
Which I would be happy to answer.
So Conway, I know you mentioned about a familiar face, but we did have a recent presentation as well. And there's a lot of concern in the current community in terms of the type of reputation the community and making sure that that maintains. So the residents have expressed a lot of concern. And I just want to know, would you be hosting community meetings? Do you understand the nature of our community in terms of what type of caliber institution would be placed here? I would just like to know that, how you would address those concerns. And I'm sure you've listened to council meetings perhaps, and are well aware of the concerns of many of the neighbors, particularly those who live in the residential area where this is going to be placed.
Yeah, it's not a problem. So I think a lot of the concern is based on just ignorance of the product and the business. I think there's been a lot of fear mongering when it comes to that particular product. And I think a lot of people just have a negative connotation with respect to it. So we'd be more than happy. And I've in addition to being a part owner in Smoke and Ashes, I'm also an attorney in the city. So I've dealt with this in criminal defense specifically. So I've dealt with this for a number of years. I've been practicing for almost 18 years now. So what I want to do is I have no problem being completely transparent and completely forthcoming with anybody that wants to have a conversation. Myself, Ryan, and Malik will be happy to have any type of community meetings. Obviously, with the whole COVID situation, it's tough to do it in person. I'd have no problem doing it. We can even, host it at the lounge for a closed meeting. We can meet wherever anybody wants to meet. We have no problem being fully, like I said, transparent.
I'm gonna have to cut this short because we do have to move on with the rest of the meeting. What I'm gonna ask you as a group to do is to put something together a bit more formally, on paper, PowerPoint, whatever it is, as to what you're planning to do, how you're going to work with the community, what services you may be able to provide to the community, and to assure us that you're meeting every single item on the list that you need to meet, other than the letter of support, because we want to make sure that all of those things are in place first so that we can take a look at that and see whether or not we can move forward. Okay. What I'm also going to ask, I see Deputy Mayor, can you do it in one sentence?
I'll do it in 28 seconds. I had a 1-minute speech, but I'll drop it down. I want to say that, I don't know Frank's, but the Smoke and Ashes group has really enhanced that spot. They put together a beautiful business, and I feel very comfortable and confident that whatever your group continues to do, we'll do it along the same lines. So I'm very supportive of this, and at the right time, I will make it my full minute speech.
Okay.
Thank you for the vote of confidence. We
So-
can send you guys a copy of the rendering that we were gonna do it. I didn't know if we can do a shared screen in this particular situation.
Yeah, that would be great. We just happened to, as the mayor said, have a very packed agenda tonight.
Understood.
But yeah, if you're able to send that, and if anybody from council has questions, we can send them back, and then we can create the. I believe the attorneys have the resolution. They just needed to know the types of licensing to add in, as well as the questions from council to be answered, but as long as they have that, we can go and get that ready if council's so amenable.
All right.
So we'll just email you everything then.
Great. I want to thank you. I want to thank you for coming in,
No problem.
and I'm sure we'll be talking again in the near future. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think Councilwoman Rice had one quick thing to add.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, just in light of last week, I had asked about a criteria, and I'm just going to ask again, has this committee set a particular criteria so that when we have these presentations, the presenter knows exactly what we're looking for in terms of making sure that we have set a criteria that we would like for them to meet, which requires our approval. I would just like to make sure that that's fairly given so that they understand what we're looking for.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree with you, Councilmember Rice. The criteria, at a bare minimum, which were relayed to this applicant as well as the others, are the types of licenses they seek, the type of plan that they're doing. And, I know they were cut short a bit here, but I think when their plan is presented, the requirements from the CRC that they mentioned, which is the Cannabis Regulatory Commission, and the requirements of the CREMA, which is the, I can't even do acronyms that long at this time of night, but there's a slew of state and regulatory requirements that fit in the definition, and I'm sure our attorneys can send you what those are so that you can be fully apprised.
The CRC allows us as the municipality to set those criteria, so that is also included in what the CRC. So hopefully the attorney, as you mentioned, could help us set some particular parameters, so that would help the presenters as well as help us.
Absolutely.
Okay. So again, thank you for coming in, and we'll be in touch. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Happy holidays.
Okay.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Happy holidays. So we have no council listed items tonight. We'll move to the manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I unfortunately have to report or announce the passing of 2 former employees to serve the township with pride and distinction. Some of you may know her, Elizabeth Betty Bowen. She worked in our court for a number of years. She passed away on December 5th at the age of 87. And then we also lost Charles Ray Montgomery Jr. at the age of 78. Mr. Montgomery was a fire captain, and he served the township for 43 years. And I would ask everyone to keep the Bowen and Montgomery families in your thoughts and prayers during this difficult time. Moving on to COVID, like to just mention again the importance of following good practice with distancing, and when you can in areas that require a mask, to do so. Our numbers are going up. Holy Name currently has 35 patients admitted for COVID. The majority of those patients are not vaccinated. There's 2 in ICU. 1 is on a ventilator. The COVID activity level for our area is high. It's currently orange, again, which means there's a high transmission rate in our area. As of today, Teaneck has 4,800 cases. We're up 212 since the last council meeting. And that's basically an average of a little over 10 and a half a day.
Deaths remain the same in Teaneck at 124, and children between the ages of 5 and 17, they represent nearly 30% of all these cases. Something to report as well, the New Jersey Department of Health and Vault Medical Services, they've partnered to offer a free at-home COVID-19 saliva test that's available to every New Jerseyan who thinks they need a test, even if you don't have symptoms. To get your free test, just go to learn.vaulthealth.com/NJ. Again, that's learn.vaulthealth.com/New Jersey. And that kit's shipped through UPS on next day delivery. And there's a process to follow. But if you go to that website, they'll tell you everything that you need to know. You're not charged for the test, and you will not be asked for your credit card information. And again, visit that website for additional information. We encourage everyone 16 and older to get a booster shot at any vaccine location. If it's been at least 2 months since their 1-dose Johnson & Johnson shot, or at least 6 months after completing the 2-dose Pfizer or Moderna vaccine series. Holy Name continues to give the booster shots at 3 University Plaza in Hackensack. People can visit vaccine.holyname.org to schedule your appointment. At this time, Pfizer is the only vaccine that's authorized or recommended for adolescents 16 and 17. Thank you to Rabbi Simon for another successful lighting of the menorah on the municipal green on November 29th. It was a great evening for everyone, and never knew Councilman Kaplan had such a great voice. We'd also like to thank our residents for participating in the lighting of the Township Christmas tree on December 7th. And that was another great community event, really shared by everyone. We collected so many toys that evening, which we plan on distributing to needy families closer to Christmas. Some project updates. The 2020 road resurfacing project is now officially complete. The 2021 roadway resurfacing list is finalized and will commence in the spring of 2022. The municipal building roof replacement is done. Work on a gutter replacement is almost completed, which is great news. Again, when this project is done in its entirety, it's going to allow us to make the interior repairs we need to make, such as the ceiling in the foyer, the council chambers, and the hallway. We're going to be replacing all the windows in the municipal building in the spring. A pre-con meeting took place last Friday. The windows are ordered, and we're probably again looking at early spring to commence that project. When this project is started, we're also going to put in a sliding door at the entrance to the municipal building that will certainly assist those that need the ADA requirements. Looking forward to that as well. We completed traffic calming striping on Tryon Avenue. We added 4 sets of thermoplastic rumble strips, 2 east of Hargraves, 2 west of Hargraves. A solar mounted speed radar sign was put near Crescent Avenue as well. As I mentioned at a past council meeting, I'm proposing the installation of a new speed table crosswalk in 2022 at Tryon and Hargraves as well. Again, that's just an elevated platform by a percentage grade. Again, that will really force cars to slow down in that area or bottom out. It's a little costly, but we'll get that done in 2022. We did traffic calming striping. We completed that on Garrison, and that ran from Beverly to Route 4. We're going out this week for bid for the municipal building basement environmental remediation and demolition, which is good news. Work at Firehouse 4 will also be advertised this week. That will incorporate roof repair as well. The Tuyum Park playground project is again delayed. I thought this project would be done by year's end. Unfortunately, the equipment has not arrived. It's due in this winter, but we're not going to commence the work until the spring, until the weather breaks. The new Voti Park band shell project continues to move forward. We're waiting for the final shop drawings and a potential delivery date in the spring. Work on replacing the main the main water line on Linden Avenue continues. Again, they're replacing a 4-inch line with an 8-inch line. Sanzari is doing that work, which will include service lines as well. We evaluated the traffic signals, 2 locations, one at Queen Anne and State, and the other one was at Windsor, West Anglewood Avenue. The signal at Queen Anne and State Street has a damaged detector, underground detector, which is causing some of the issues. We're seeking proposals now and securing a camera system, which will automatically detect traffic and set the sequence for the light to change. For now, we're going to, at West Anglewood and Windsor, we're just going to change the sequence of that light to see if that will improve the traffic flow in the area. As mentioned, the last meeting, I'm approving 2 new crosswalks on Queen Anne Road. That's by Herrick and one by Van Buren. They'll have the LED pedestrian crossing signs as well. We need 1 ADA ramp, and we're going to paint, they call them a zebra line pattern for the crosswalks. This will be part of the 2021 road resurfacing, come out of the road resurfacing budget, which again is going to commence in the spring of 2022. Those 2 crosswalks we spoke about on Windsor Road are going to require a little more funding, which I'll include in the 2022 budget. The Bell Avenue drainage studies on tonight's agenda for approval. DPW will keep that area clear of any debris before a storm. I know engineering is exploring several different ideas, including bioswales or swales, which apparently are becoming more popular in our area with municipalities. They're basically channels designed to concentrate and convey stormwater runoff while removing debris and pollution. Cities such as Newark are using it now, as well as New York City, and that's something they're looking into for that project. Road resurfacing grant information for Prospect Terrace from Arlington to Congress and Arlington from Robinson to East Forest Avenue was recently submitted, and our application to New Jersey DOT local freight grant has been submitted, and that's going to cover, if we get that, and I think we will, the milling and resurfacing of the entire length of Palisade Avenue from West Anglewood Avenue to the dead end, as well as Galway Place. So we should hear something soon. We're in the process of securing a survey for the burial ground so it could be correctly staked. And the plan, I met with some residents there last week. The plan is to erect a wood cedar post rail fence on the perimeter, not a solid one, but it's going to be a wood cedar post rail fence. So as soon as we get the survey, we'll move forward with that project. We're in a process of replacing the electrical box on Teaneck Road that controls some of the decorative lighting there north of Route 4. Unfortunately, it's been hit twice. We have an insurance claim in. We're going to put in a bollard there to protect the device when the new one arrives. Regarding the PSE&G diversion program, we're done with planting 188 trees as part of the diversion project, the planting plan. Happy to say all worked out. New trees were planted in 15 parks owned by the township, Voti being really the top location. We use 4 different species of trees. They include the downy serviceberry, the eastern red cedar, the American holly, and the river birch, all of which should grow very nicely in the locations that they were planted. Per the Green Acres diversion agreement, there's a commitment from PSE&G to maintain the trees for 2 years and a guarantee of replacement for any that die within that period. Also, I just want to publicly announce that we've settled on 3 different property locations to satisfy the 3.37 acres needed as part of the diversion that will allow the town to receive a little bit over $1.9 million. Those locations, again, this took some time to do between our assessor, our attorney, working with Green Acres. These 3 properties are the ones that will be submitted to Green Acres. We have to go through the technicals and before Green Acres gives the final approval for this. Those locations are 661 Romer Avenue, which has an equalized value of a little over $1 million. The second one is 75 Bedford, which has an equalized value of over $905,000. And the third one is 1603 Ardsley Court, which has an equalized value of $226,600. So the total acreage that we're dedicating for this is actually more than the 3.37 acres needed. We're at 3.4992. And the total equalized value of those properties is over $2.2 million. Because the value of that property is greater than what we're receiving, the township can reimburse ourselves for that money, and we'll be able to use that money for recreation and municipal projects. So I just wanted to make that public so the public was aware of the properties that we're looking into. We've also been in contact with the Animal Protection League to discuss non-lethal geese management. I get calls quite often about the conditions of the park, the droppings that continue to be a health issue. We have some options. My office will look into that. Again, the goal here is just to bring significant change to our community while being humane to the geese population, but it is a problem for us. We tried the coyote stanchions in the park. They don't seem to work, but we had a good conversation with the Animal Protection League, and I think there's some things we may be able to implement to help us out from that end. I also thought we'd be able to have the Penn Avenue project completed by year's end. Unfortunately, the contractor can't perform the work until early January. We have a pre-con meeting planned for January 3rd, and work is going to commence on January 10th. My office will communicate with the residents on Penn Avenue to ensure we limit any inconveniences to them while the work is performed. The good news is that the contractor on this project will move quickly. There'll probably be 3 to 4 cranes on scene. Everything should be done in less than 2 weeks, which is good news. And this is all weather permitting, of course. Any sort of concrete sidewalk work will need to be completed sometime in the spring. Our new ATM machine is ready for installation, but due to a chip shortage for the wireless router, the installation is on hold right now. Some other good news, I'm happy to announce the provisional promotions of 3 new assistant supervisors at Public Works. That's Jason Forsythe, Glenn Josephson, and Stephen Toms, and 3 new supervisors, Maurice Mason, Edward Javier, and Steve Carrig. They replace open positions due to retirements. They're all well-deserved promotions, and these employees continue to be an asset to the organization. I also want to congratulate Kevin Arahill on his retirement. He spent almost 30 years with the township, started as an electrician, was promoted to assistant supervisor, then supervisor, assistant superintendent, and then became the director of Public Works. Kevin finished his last working day last week. For now, I've appointed Trevon Robio as the current acting director, and I'm very confident he will do an excellent job of providing first-class service to our residents. I encourage all residents to go online to look at our snow ordinance. Although we haven't had any snowfall, it's important that the residents acclimate themselves to the policy and our ordinance. I'll be sending something out shortly. And TVAC is conducting their annual fund drive. The letter was recently mailed out to the residents. Please support your only ambulance service in town. They do a tremendous work at no cost to our residents. And please, if you can donate to them, please do so. That's it, Mayor.
Great. Thank you, Dean. Any questions of the manager? Karen?
Dean, can we just post the website for the COVID test on all of the town's social media? Just so people have it?
I sure will. I believe it's on our website already, but we'll make sure it gets out to all the social media outlets.
Thanks so much.
Okay. Anyone else have a question for Dean? No? Okay. Moving on. Township Attorney's Report.
Evening, Mayor, and happy holidays to everyone. I have nothing additional to report other than what was discussed during closed session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Formal meeting items. Doug, if you can read in the titles.
Absolutely, Mayor. We are considering a few ordinances for adoption this evening. Give me 1 minute. To 57. First up, we have ordinance number 54-2021, amending ordinance number 25-2021, entitled an ordinance amending Article 2, parking of Chapter 36, traffic of the Township Code, to add Division 10, respecting the location, installation, and regulation of electric charging stations, and amending Appendix 3, fees and charges for certain township services of Chapter 2, Charter Administrative Code of the Township of Teaneck respecting electric charging station fees to impose a parking time limit. We have ordinance number 55-2021, establishing salary ranges and classification of positions for municipal employees in the Township of Teaneck, included within the Teaneck Police PBA Local Number 215 for the years 2022 to 2026. We have ordinance number 56-2021, establishing salaries and classification of positions for municipal employees in the Township of Teaneck, included within the Teaneck Police Superior Officers Association, the SOA, for the years 2022 to 2026. Last but not least, we have ordinance number 57-2021, amending ordinance number 29-2021, permitting cannabis establishments as a conditional use within the light industry district in the Township of Teaneck. Those are our ordinances for second reading, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Anybody on council wish to make a comment or have any questions? Councilmember Kaplan?
Just one de minimis change, if we can, on 55 and 56, to remove Article 26B2 as not applying to anyone in the township anymore. It's one of those lines that carries over year to year to year every time you do a contract, and it has to do with employees hired prior to January 1st, 1966, of which there are none anymore. So I'm hoping we can zap that one in this and all future MOAs.
Councilman, can you just repeat that section real quick
Sure.
for me, please?
Article 26, Section B as in boy 2, employees hired prior to January 1st, 1966.
Article 26. I just want to see where that is in the contract real quick. All right, I'll find that.
I have it covered. No worries.
Oh, okay. And then that, so I guess pending the approval from council tonight, that changed contract is the one we will sign, Dean?
Yeah, and that's okay. That's okay. So we'll make the edit to the contractual form, or Dean can do it. If he
It
has
doesn't
the-
actually have any effect on the actual contract.
Of course, yeah. Just want to make sure we get the right document. All right, so
Okay.
that's.
Anybody
with,
else on council have any comments to make on these ordinances? Councilmember Rice?
Question. So on 27, just any further explanation, because did we introduce this back on the 23rd?
I'm sorry, which ordinance are you talking about?
I think she means 57.
57. Yes, I
57?
said 57. The
Okay.
cannabis. I was just curious as to the difference and what are we actually changing? I thought last meeting that we talked about adding testing, and I'm just curious as to, is this the
Yeah.
same thing? It's
That-
on again?
Yes, so this is the second, if you don't mind, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
This is the second reading of the ordinance. The Cannabis Regulatory Commission, as was mentioned earlier, updated its rules several times. In one of the more recent updates, they allowed testing as a concept, materials testing lab, nothing that is outward facing to the public. They just test the actual product for different places around the state. So this would allow a testing license to operate within the municipality.
Okay, yeah.
And
Okay,
that's the
this
only
is
change on this one.
the exception, the second reading. Gotcha.
Yep.
All right. All right, seeing no more questions, then we'll open it up to the public for comment. And I'll again remind you that the comments here are going to be just for the ordinances that have been read in, which is 54, 55, 56, and 57. You will have time after this for good and welfare to speak on any item, but this is just for these items set up for adoption. Doug?
Indeed, as our mayor so eloquently and clearly stated, this public hearing is strictly for ordinances 54 to 57, which are on the slate to be adopted this evening. You have 3 minutes. If you are unable to fit your comments, questions, thoughts, concerns into your 3 minutes, please email me, your township clerk, at clerk@tnecnj.gov, and we will be sure that your comments get verbatim into the minutes, how you send them via email. I just don't like cutting people off at 3 minutes. And with that being said, I see Sandy Silverberg. Bringing in Sandy.
Good evening, everybody.
Hey, Sandy.
Sandy,
I'll be back for good and welfare to wish you all good and welfare. But for right now, I just want to say that I'm so sorry that the council appears to support the marijuana shop. I am disturbed at how much traffic there already is in that neighborhood, particularly when you exit Route 4 and you need to make the immediate left turn. There's no protective stop sign opposite exiting. And that's already a kind of a deadly place. So I hope that you'll take a look at all of the traffic patterns that will be, there will be definite impact by increased traffic if we are one of the marijuana shops. I keep wondering that if we were located not as near Route 4 and the George Washington Bridge, if we were some locked in place like, I don't know, Westwood, that you can't get to somehow. You have to helicopter yourself there. I'm not sure that we would be having a marijuana shop. I've spoken to people in my neighborhood, which is within walking distance of this proposal. And I've yet to encounter somebody who supports it. So I'm very sorry about it. And I hope that you'll very, very seriously study all the safety features that would be required, including traffic patterns. And I don't even want to think about what else. Thank you.
thank you,
Thank
Sandy.
you, Sandy. I'm bringing in Alan Sohn.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, sir. 3 minutes.
Ordinances 55 and 56 increase salaries for police officers. Their salaries will go up a bit more than 2% per year. They've earned it. Vote yes. But if salaries, the township's main expense, are going up by more than 2% a year, and other expenses like healthcare and lawsuits lost by John Shadanian are going up even faster, how come taxes aren't going up? Well, first off, they are. And those increases have been reduced only by using such gimmickry as paying terminal leave payments earned in years past by adding millions in debt. Faced with rising costs for candy bars, companies have found a way to keep prices the same by cutting a few fractions of an ounce from each bar. When that happens, you've been snickered. The township does the same thing, raising salaries, but simultaneously reducing the number of employees, which have dropped in the DPW and in the police and fire departments. Fewer employees means less service, and we've seen that deteriorate in recent years. When candy bar companies make candy bars smaller, you might still be satisfied and you may appreciate the reduction in calories, but no resident is better off when services are reduced. The decrease in DPW workers means it takes longer to pick up leaves, clear snow, and remove tree branches. That's why you have to complain to get that lingering pile of leaves taken away. But when you have a police emergency or a fire, you can't solve the problem by posting on Facebook to ask a council member to help you. Police and firefighters have been retiring by the dozens for years. We've all known it's been happening, but those employees are not being replaced as quickly as they're leaving. And that drop in the number of employees in our public safety departments has brought staffing to some of the lowest levels in decades. Fewer public safety workers means that the employees themselves are hit harder with work demands and pressures. When you look at your tax bill and hear claims about zero tax increases, remember that much of that has been accomplished by cuts in the number of employees. Just like with that Snickers bar, you're getting less and less service each year for what you pay in taxes. You're getting less in return. Taxpayers, don't let yourself get snickered or katzed or schwartzed or kaplaned. Demand that you won't be conned by pretend budgets balanced each year by reducing services a little bit each year. Demand that this council fully staff our police and fire departments. Tell your elected officials that you won't be satisfied until you get the full service staffing you deserve for your full price taxes. It is critical that this township take a look at the services that are being provided and ensuring that the level of services corresponds to what residents are paying in taxes, and that our public safety departments have the full complement of resources that they need in order to provide township residents with the quality public safety services that they pay for and that they deserve. It's the least that can be done for residents. And I hope that this council learns the lesson.
Thank you, Mr. Sohn. I'm now bringing in Howard Rose. Again, if you are cut off at your 3 minutes, please send me an email, clerk@tnecnj.gov, with your thoughts and comments, and I will be sure to copy and paste them into the minutes. Mr. Howard Rose, you are up, sir. I know sometimes we have an issue with Howard's camera and audio. It does not look like you are muted, Howard. Oh, now you're muted.
Now you're muted.
Which might be a good thing.
Just undo what you just did. There you go.
There he is with the books. Hello, Mr. Rose.
Howard,
you're muted.
Howard, you're muted now. Unmute yourself. We can't hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm concerned regarding this cannabis situation in terms of where the location is. At least in theory, council claims to be sensitive to the needs and desires and wishes of its residents. Yet all the residents in that area don't want it to be there. This is supposed to be a business, the marijuana industry, cannabis industry. If it's a business, why is it being sequestered in a remote residential area as opposed to a business district? The whole idea of a business district, of a streetscape, is to encourage businesses to attract people to each and every business in the area, not just itself. You go to one business, then you go to another one, hopefully after you exit the door of the first one. That's the whole idea of a business district and a streetscape. Why are we not taking that into consideration? Why are we putting it where it's not desired? Doesn't quite make sense. I also hear talk that there's supposed to be information made available to residents and to other council members regarding the committee that did the research. Now, I am a businessman in town, and I don't know any other business people who have been questioned, who have been part of some kind of an exchange regarding the research. I've lived in town for 40 years. I don't know any people who live in town who have been questioned by this committee, who have been questioned about it, who have been asked their opinions, there's been no dialogue anywhere, or at least not evidenced if there has been. And I think that's a real concern. Before you go forward with this location, which seems to be very ill-advised for a multitude of reasons, give it a lot more thought. Thank you.
Thank you, Howard. I am bringing in Chuck Powers. So, sir, 3 minutes.
There are actually two ways to write an ordinance. One of them is to show what it is that you are changing when you are essentially amending something that's been part of the code before. And another one is to simply leave the public completely awash as to what it is you're doing to change the prior one, which forces the few residents who actually are able to take the time and have the capacity to put the two ordinances side by side to see what was changed. Is it the case that the only thing that has been changed about this ordinance is that there is now a testing capacity to be included in what's going on Alfred Avenue? We need so much more clarity. And what we heard tonight, I must say, if that is what this committee is recommending as a sort of a way of understanding what is going to be being done by a business, that we learned almost nothing except that the fact that everybody seems to think that, or at least the people who run it seems to think that a cigar store is something that everybody should love. So therefore they should love marijuana far away to be dispensing at 2,500 to 4,000 feet. And without any idea as to where it might actually be within the light industrial zone in Alfred Avenue. The way in which this committee refuses to tell us what it's doing, as it has consistently since October, when it was that Ms. Organ said that she would provide the information, and she never has, and I suspect that she never will, allows the fact that subcommittees run amok and give us the kind of presentation we heard tonight, and produce ordinances that no one in the world can actually figure out the significance of. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I am now bringing in Laverne Lightburn. Laverne, you're queued in whenever you're ready. Oh, there she is. Hello, miss. 3 minutes.
Hello, everyone. How are you? Okay, I'm concerned about that area. I'm a little confused about the testing capacity, because a couple months ago, I did the research and I came and I told you all that when Colorado was when they were first putting these factories in, that they had a lot of fires. They had different explosions. I would like you all to do more research on that. I agree about the traffic pattern, because that runs down Selvage. You'll seem to think that these people are going to just get off and get back on, but they're going to come up because of the traffic pattern. They're going to come up Selvage Avenue more into our residential area. I don't know why we would want more people in a residential area that are coming from out of town for these things. I'm not saying I'm totally against cannabis, but I'm not feeling it in a community. Plus, you're building this 256 apartment in that same area. And who is responsible? Is it Teaneck or is it Inglewood for the police? How are y'all dealing with that? Are y'all even looking about the maintaining and the cops being in that area? But I am concerned because now you're talking about being off of Selvage. You're in my community now, because I live in 2 different communities in this town. You're in my community, and there's a lot of seniors going up by Teaneck Road. So can y'all put that on your agenda to look into monitoring that, and to figure out what you're going to do about police, and what you're going to do about how are they going to go to the Teaneck, get off on the Teaneck exit, which is already crowded when people are coming off. There's a lot more, and I agree it should be in a business district. I agree that Karen needs to give us much more information. And I also have gone over there and walked over there and talked to people, and no one knows what the hell is going on. So can y'all please be more transparent about this? Thank you. And I am not mad. I guess I am mad. Bye.
Thank you, Laverne. I am now bringing in caller user 1. Call-in user 1, you have to unmute, and please state your name for the record if it's okay. Nope, you had it, but then you hit the wrong button. Try that one more time, please. Oh, don't press anything. I think you got it. Call-in user 1, please state your name for the record.
My name is Margaret Baker, and I'm very concerned. Yes, it's me again. I'm very concerned about the cannabis. I'm sitting here right in the middle of it, or should I say on top of it. And I don't understand how all of this can be going on. And we, the residents that are out here, don't have a clue. You come out here, you want to do this, that, and the other, and you don't tell us a thing. We are the ones out here. We have been trying to get things done in the area, but we can't get done. But I hear Deputy Mayor Schwartz claim, oh, they're going to fix the stairs up to Route 4 and the light that's out. It's kind of damaged. We are here now. Fix that now. You're basing everything on who's going to come. We are here now. Do the basic things here in the area now. The bus stop needs to be replaced. You didn't do that, but you're worried about the future. Think about the people that are here. And the traffic, yes, Sandy was right. You have no idea. And unless you're going to put an overpass up there for traffic, you're in for a big surprise. Why put an apartment building and a cannabis building on a street that has no outlet? Think about that. You go down Alfred, you're going to have to come back up Alfred and meet the traffic that's coming off of Route 4. I think you need to take another trip out here and see what's out here. You didn't have time to talk to the residents that are out here. You did what you wanted to do. Why is it that we don't have a say-so? It's in my front door, but you will listen to other residents talk about what's in their backyard. Let's get on the even keel right here. We are all residents of Teaneck, and we all deserve to be treated fairly.
I assume that's all, Ms. Baker.
Oh, I have a lot more. Do you have about another hour?
Unfortunately, I do not have that in my pocket this evening.
Okay, well, we'll do it another time.
Thank you, Ms. Baker. Please be safe. I have Michael Klatsky.
Good evening. My name is Michael Klatsky. I want to comment on two ordinances tonight. The first one I'd like to comment on is the ordinance regarding the increase in the salary schedule for public employees. I feel that many of the public employees in the township work extremely hard, extremely diligently, and with the increase of cost of living throughout the entire region in the country, I think it's a fantastic thing that this is on tonight's board meeting, and I fully support this. The second thing I'd like to discuss is Ordinance 57, the cannabis ordinance. One thing that everyone seems to forget is that our township has a very big and busy cannabis industry currently operating in the shadows. If you go and look at any park at night, you'll see one of the Teaneck police cars come by, shine their lights at people who are conducting what's currently not permitted cannabis transactions. There's a tremendous need to have legitimate businesses that provide a safe and regulated place to conduct these transactions. I applaud the council for taking the initiative to make this happen. It is wise to have a piece of the tax pie instead of just banning things outright, and finding a location as a test bed. And usually every planner in probably the United States would say the number one place to test a potentially noxious use is in the zone where all the noxious uses go, which in this case is the light industrial zone in Teaneck, which has its own dedicated highway entrance that pretty much doesn't pass by any single other use in the town. In this location, the Alfred Avenue zone, block 6002, lots that basically make up the industrial zone are already noxious industries compared to single family housing or multifamily housing, or even your local bakery that's on Cedar Lane or Queen Anne Road or what have you. I think it's really important that the council listen to the residents and listen to that. We need this to be regulated. We need this to exist, and it should exist in a place where it is not really near any residential zones. Yes, there are residents everywhere, and some will be impacted, and that's unfortunate. However, the light industrial zone is already industrial with tractor trailers, trucks, machinery operating 24 hours a day. This belongs here. Thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you, Michael. Mayor, I see no more hands this time.
Okay, thank you. I just want to ask for a moment, Dean, could you comment on staffing, please?
Absolutely. Anyone that needs to know the civil service process, please feel free to give me a call. Yes, there have been quite a few retirements over the past year or two. We are filling the positions. To say that we're not filling the positions is not true. There are 2 police classes per year. It depends on when people retire, if they give us advance notice or short notice, if we can get a certified list to get people into these academy classes so that everybody knows. The Civil Service Commission did not hold a police examination for the title of police officer this year for COVID reasons. We have exhausted our Teaneck residency list. So we are going outside of Teaneck to hire police officers. All the positions will be filled, but we serve at the mercy of civil service and when these police classes are held. Civil service just recently canceled the physical fitness part for the firefighters. We just found that out, which means we have to now certify another firefighters list. And the empty positions, the open positions, I should say, at the fire department will be filled probably in February or March. We plan on filling about 4 to 5 police officer positions for the January class. That's if we have enough qualified candidates to fill those positions. It's not our doing. It's not our fault. With Public Works, we may be down 1 or 2 labor positions, but I'm going to discuss with the new director to look at the table of organization. I have gotten very minimal, if any, complaints about leaf pickup this year. I thought it went extremely well. We filled some promotions there. We entered into a shared service agreement with the County of Bergen to do our heavy repairs, which saves taxpayer money as well. So again, we're fine with staffing. We will fill these positions and there's no need for panic. There's no need for alarm. If you call the police department, they'll be there. If you call the fire department, they'll be there. If you call Public Works, they will be there to provide the necessary services.
Thank you, Dean. Just one more, Deputy Mayor Katz, and then we'll move on to the vote.
Just on some of the comments, Mr. Mayor, listen, I want to break it up into 2 parts. As far as some of the speakers concerned, I'm not in favor of marijuana. I'm not against cannabis either. But I am conscious of what's going on with the trends in this country and what's going on around us. And for us to pretend like this is not happening is a mistake. I spoke earlier about how Teaneck was so opposed to cell towers, and I understand that it's not in the same category. But back then it was the taboo and it was the third rail. And Teaneck lost a tremendous amount of money, including the big giant cell tower by Route 95 that the state was given a big chunk of money for, and we had the opportunity to get that, but we dug our heels in the ground and did not want to, go with the trends of that time. So every time you get off of 95, think about some poor decisions that were made by government at that time that the taxpayers don't benefit, and why your tax bills are not benefiting from it is because of those poor decisions. So here you have a subcommittee that did do a tremendous amount of due diligence, contrary to what some of the speakers spoke about. They did speak to several of the merchants. They did look at almost every single area in town, and they chose this area, which according to the master plan was identified as an area that really needs to be addressed, because there is no single story warehouse space in Bergen County that's affordable or sustainable with the taxes, et cetera, per square foot. So it's been vacant in many of the spaces over the years. It goes up and down. And that's also why the zoning subcommittee looked at that area. And the truth is, who knew that the two would come at the same time? But you know what? Instead of just putting one egg in one basket, we put two eggs in the basket so that we could set an area off to a good trajectory to hopefully thrive. And I have confidence that whatever opens up there will be attractive, will be nice for the neighborhood, will not be a negative. I mean, every single council meeting, we swap liquor licenses to this place, to that place. And once upon a time, the liquor license was as taboo as what the marijuana is today. So I do understand the residents' concerns. I do understand the fear of the unknown. I'm not sitting here being a promoter for it, but I do also ask that everyone take a step back, let the subcommittee do their work. They chose an area that's going to have the least impact as far as residential area. I understand there are some residents I've been to the homes, some of the homes, I'm not knocking that area, but it's a good pilot, and they pushed it further into Alfred Avenue than the tip of the Alfred Avenue. And I have confidence that it's going to be only a positive if Teaneck is chosen.
Briefly, Councilmember Kaplan.
Yeah, I just want to make a very quick comment because, there are times that people come here and we get important points of view from the public. And I really want to thank the people that came out. I don't want anyone to think that their views were not heard. There are a lot of times people that agree with our actions, don't necessarily come out. And I just wanted to remind the public that in, our elections, the election in Teaneck history, going back to the beginning of Teaneck, that had the most voter turnout was in 2020, in part because it was all vote by mail. And we had 23,526 ballots that were sent in that election. And it did have the question on whether or not we should have cannabis in town. And of the 23,500 potential no's, only 3,979 of them voted no. For everyone that said they had problems with this, there were approximately 3 voters that said yes, absolutely, in my town. So I just want the public to understand there's certainly going to be a range of feelings, and council is not giving carte blanche. We're taking these feelings into account as we go. Personally, I would not have a problem if it's right next to my house. I understand other people don't feel that way, but we decided to go with a light industrial zone, which right now is just kicking up exhaust from the trucks, and this will definitely be an improvement there over what's currently there. So I want to thank the people that came out, and we have heard you.
Okay, thank you very much. All right. So can somebody make a motion to move?
Motion to approve, Mayor.
Second
Schwartz.
Okay. All those in favor?
Who is the?
I made the motion, Doug.
Okay.
Okay.
And who was the second? I apologize.
Councilman Kaplan.
Do the roll call.
Councilwoman Rami Rice.
No.
No, it for all the ordinances.
I'm sorry. Thank you for that clarity. No for 27, yes on the rest.
Councilman Begon,
Yes, for all the ordinances, Mr. Clerk.
Councilwoman Organ,
Yes.
Councilman Kaplan,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Schwartz,
Yes, for Teaneck.
Deputy Mayor Katz,
Yes.
Mayor Dunleavy.
Yes.
Publication's going out tomorrow.
All right. Now we move to good and welfare. Time for the public to talk to us on everything and anything they want. Doug will be letting you in. Each one of you will have 3 minutes. And Doug, take it away.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, as our presiding officer just stated, you have 3 minutes. And if you are unable to fit your comments into 3 minutes, please email clerk@tnecnj.gov, and we will be sure to copy and paste your comments verbatim into the minutes. The first person I saw here is Ron Schwartz. Ron Schwartz.
Thank you, Doug. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the council. I live in the southwest portion of town on Larch Avenue, 698 Larch Avenue. Been a resident for 41 years. This past weekend, we had a gathering of neighbors to celebrate the holidays. We had about 5 or 6 homeowners here in my house with my wife, Lisa. And the main topic of conversation, other than the holidays, was the possible loss of our supermarket, the Stop and Shop, just a couple of blocks away from where all of us live and where we frequently visit. I'm very concerned that the area around the Stop and Shop, including the Stop and Shop, has been declared an area in need of redevelopment by the town. The residents here are very concerned about that and the possible demolition of a very essential service in our town, a Stop and Shop that also employs many people, many residents of the Township of Teaneck. We'd like to know why this area was declared by the town to be in need of redevelopment. We also have become aware of the fact that the Stop and Shop, one of our largest commercial establishments in town, one of our largest employers in town, is now suing the Township of Teaneck over this declaration of being a part of an area in need of redevelopment, and also the possibility that they may be required to demolish the Stop and Shop. So I would like to ask if the town attorney could explain what the lawsuit is all about. Why is the town letting itself be sued by one of its largest employers, by one of its largest commercial stores in town, an essential service for the residents? Many of the employees who risked their lives servicing the residents of town during COVID and provide needed services, essential workers provided needed services for the town. Why is the town even considering demolishing Stop and Shop? And why is the town permitting itself to be sued? And not that the town has any say over Stop and Shop suing, but how did we get to the point? And like somebody answered that Stop and Shop is now suing the town. I'm aware of at least 4 or 5 lawsuits that citizens have taken against the town in the last year or so, all of them successful. We spent thousands and thousands of dollars on legal fees fighting our own residents who are suing us for things. And now we have one of the largest commercial establishments in town, one of the largest employers in town, suing us as well. I'd like to know why that is happening. I'd like some assurance for the residents that I speak to that the Stop and Shop will not be demolished and that we will continue to have the services of this essential service. Hope you can answer that question tonight. Thank you very much.
We have Ramona. Ramona, I'm bringing you in. Hey, and Roosevelt.
All right, good evening. This is Roosevelt Sills. I'd just like to speak on the veterans-friendly community. I think that speaks volumes for the town of Teaneck. The word friendly itself speaks for his own self. I think it's a great milestone for our particular town, and it's really greatly appreciated for all the effort that been put into it to make our town a veteran-friendly community. And more than that, I think it adds history to our great history of our town of Teaneck. I'd like to speak for myself and probably for other veterans. We'd like to thank the town manager, council for making this day a success. And special thanks to Councilman Mike Pagan for he being such an advocate for the veterans. And he always been since I knew him. And I always love the stories that Councilman Kaplan always can share much about veterans history in our town. But I do thank all who supported this effort to make Teaneck a veteran-friendly community. And also, hello? Maybe I repeat that.
We hear you.
You hear me? About Mike Pagan, we'd like to thank him for being an advocate, and also like to thank the stories and the veteran stories that, and all the history that Councilman Kaplan always have to share. We thank AJ for always being an advocate and being a supporter, even from the county, and going out to different communities and sharing and supporting the veterans all over the Bergen County, especially for the Teaneck residents. And I also like to thank Mr. John McGilchrist for his patriotism and being the chair of the Patriotic Board in Teaneck and all his efforts and commitment and dedication of his service to the town. Tonight, I would like to say we'd like to salute all the Teaneck veterans, and we'd like to thank all those who support the veterans of Teaneck. And I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you, Roosevelt. Good to see
Thank you, Mr.
sir.
Sills.
Ramona.
Thank you, Sergeant Major. Happy holidays.
Sergeant Major.
Yes, happy holidays to you as well.
Merry Christmas.
Holidays.
I am now going to be bringing in Karen. Karen, whenever you're. Hey, Karen. You have 3
Karen,
minutes.
thank you. A great meeting tonight. Karen McAvoy, lifetime resident, director of Helping Hands Food Pantry. I just sat through this meeting and I think you guys are simply amazing. I wanted to just say thank you for everything you've done for the vets. You guys are doing a great job in making this town grow. You know, the times are changing. And I just hope everyone keeps an open mind if it is with this cannabis stuff. You know, if something is set up properly and is controlled, it could be a positive. You know, our township is growing. We need to grow with the times. We put up these beautiful homes, these apartment buildings, and they're beautiful. We have more residents coming in. We have this issue with Holy Name. If our community is growing in such a beautiful and positive way, I just think we need to also address our healthcare system, and we need our healthcare system to grow too, to accommodate our community. I just think you guys, I just want to say, you know, you guys are just doing an awesome job. And Ms. Rice, thank you for the shout out for the FDU game, because my daughter's a Terpsy and you guys are just amazing. So I just hope everyone keeps an open mind with Holy Name, the cannabis. If everything's done properly, we need to move forward. We need to keep growing, and you guys are doing an amazing job. Dean, you're amazing. You know, your staff is amazing. The veterans, you guys did an amazing job with that. And I just say keep up the great work. Thank you.
Karen. I am bringing in Evan Cohen. Evan, you're muted.
All right, I'm unmuted. I'll use my time very wisely right now. I just want to speak in favor of TNEC, love TNEC, and all you guys do. So thank you so much. But also just express my support for everyone in town fighting for the right to keep chickens in their backyard and raise chickens legally in TNEC. And I would appreciate if we can continue down that way. I think it's a great. Speaking of all the other growth areas, it's another cool little feature of our town that a lot of towns have adopted, and a way to introduce some local, farming. That's what I was looking for into our community. So thank you for the time. I really appreciate it. And go TNEC, go.
Thank you, Evan. I am now bringing in Alan Sohn.
Or Stab, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
It was incredibly gracious of this council to belatedly honor the winners in the Board of Education race in the November election. But tremendous credit is also due to the other winners, the two groups behind the two municipal questions, moving council elections from May to November and implementing community choice aggregation. The two ballot initiatives faced withering opposition from the township, be it legal or illegal, unethical or immoral. Hundreds of signatures were rejected, petition circulators were prevented from collecting signatures in Votee Park, and the two groups were forced to take the township to court, where Mr. Shadanian's arguments were rejected in their entirety, twice in the same day. It's also important to recognize the losers, who have not earned their participation trophies. Members of this council spent months spreading deliberate falsehoods about supposed party bosses, misrepresented statistics, and used constant ad hominem attacks. The same folks who submitted false campaign reports for the May 2020 election and voted in favor of a pay-to-play contract for an undisclosed contributor all had vote no campaign signs on their front lawns, which were paid for by an entity called TNEC Community Watch, which has failed to file any of the required campaign funding disclosure forms required by law by the state. This was a campaign in which the council majority operated at full evil. The margins of victory, despite that, for both initiatives were better than 2-1. Voters were clear that increased openness, transparency, and access to voting, as well as concern for our environment, are major priorities. But as loudly as the voters have spoken, it is pretty clear that this council is not listening. Will this council look for broad input from residents, or will they be ignored? Will community choice aggregation be implemented, or will this council drag their feet? There's an old joke about how many psychologists it takes to change a light bulb. The answer is one, but the light bulb has to want to be changed. We voters have given you an extra 6 months in office as an opportunity to reconsider your actions. But do you want to change? Council members, it will be your choice over the next year to see if you will change your ways, because on November 8th, 2022, it will be our choice. Remember that 6,714 residents voted yes to move the elections, well more than 75% more than the number of votes received 4 years ago by Mr. Katz, and more than the number of votes received by Jim Dunleavy and Keith Kaplan combined. It will be our choice to decide which 4 people best represent the values of open democracy and a clean environment that have so frequently been ignored by this council. They do so at their own peril. The belligerent.
3 minutes was up, Mr. Sohn. You have my email. I am now bringing in Beverly Garvin. Beverly Garvin.
Hello. How is everyone? I hope you're well this evening. I'm sorry I missed the call last month, but I just wanted to make sure I reached out and said thank you so much for coming out and helping me with my situation that was going on Tryon Avenue. And I can assure you that the entire block has texted me and called me. I'm waiting for donuts to be delivered to my house because they're so excited about our Rumples as well as the electric sign or the sign that we see saying 25 miles per hour with the big smile and the frown if you're going not as fast. So, you know, we came out, you guys came out, Mr. Kaplan, Ms. Rice, Dean, and I just thank you guys so much for being there to support us and to actually see how bad our situation is. So that's really all I wanted to say was thank you. And hopefully, you know, this will work and it'll slow down the traffic. We really, really, really appreciate it. You heard us loud and clear and you came out and supported and you did something about it. So thank you. And that's it.
Tell your neighbors, we're here for everybody.
Thank you. So, oh, one last thing. I tried to email you guys shortly after you came and the email never went through. So I looked at it to see why you guys didn't respond. And it just says that it's stuck in queue. So I don't want you to think that I was being rude. I thanked you guys like the day after with pictures attached.
I got the picture. I'll send it around for you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
I am now bringing in Laverne Lightburn. Laverne Lightburn.
Oh, okay. Got in. Okay, I just wanted to make a correction of last month. The gentleman with the chicken said that I said, which was not true. I mentioned the fact that in 2009, there was a bird flu overseas. I did not say that the chickens cause COVID. I'm saying that it's been a known fact that we've had bird flu, that diseases jump from people to from humans to the chickens and back and forth. And I just didn't want it here. But I already know that you all are planning to vote for the chickens. So with this said, or at least it appears that way, I was hoping that you'll put some guidelines in, like coops for these chickens to be courteous for other neighbors, distance between the homes, because, you know, the lot sizes are different. I would also like to see us neighbors to be notified just about these animals, because these chickens are louder than dogs, and we went through all of this, so there's no need to. And since they're like pets, as this gentleman says, I think we might want to consider them being licensed also like the dogs. Okay, that's all I have to say on that. As far as going back to the cannabis, Mr. Kaplan, I'm not sure you would like that being in the cannabis being next door to your house. I doubt that sincerely. If that's the case, then there are a couple places in this town on the other side of town that I think that y'all could have put the cannabis store, and it should be in a business district. Paramus has it. I know a lot of places have it. I don't have a problem with it. I have a problem with the location and the fact that it wasn't transparent, as I said. That's pretty much all I wanted to say. I really beg of you, because there's a lot of people that have health problems in this town. And yes, the town is growing. And yes, I think you'll think that you're doing what's right for the town. But there's a lot of things that y'all are not including that should be resolved. Like traffic on Teaneck Road right now is horrendous. And on Queen Anne Road, it's horrendous. I feel like I'm in New York sometime. So if you're going to be doing this on Alfred Avenue, please start mapping out the things correctly. Route 4 is horrendous, as you know. It just doesn't make any sense to me, but I understand. As far as the Holy Name Hospital area, I just think, once again, you have to get the residents involved. You have to talk to the people. You know, people.
Laverne, the 3 minutes was up. I know you definitely have my email. I am now bringing in Roberta Pickett. Roberta Pickett. Roberta Pickett.
Hi, sorry about that. Can you hear me? Sorry, I'm not sure why you can't see me.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. You have 3 minutes.
Okay, I won't need that long. Hi, sorry about that. I'm supposed to be technically adept. I just want to piggyback on what Ron Schwartz said about the Stop and Shop situation, particularly regarding the store analysis and the action of declaring the area an area in need of redevelopment. I also live in Southwest Teaneck. I've been a Teaneck resident for about 12 years. I live about 2 blocks from the Stop and Shop, so the store does mean a lot to me, and I know the area quite well. I don't think of it as an area in need of redevelopment, but that's neither here nor there. What I have questions about is how we got to this point where Stop and Shop decided that the only way to address this issue was to sue the township. So some of the questions I have are as follows. Why were these actions, namely performing the store analysis and declaring the area in need of redevelopment, taken apparently without notifying local residents? I never heard anything about it. And according to Stop and Shop's complaint, they weren't notified either. Somebody walked into the store and decided to analyze the store. They didn't know anything about it, according to their complaint. Why wasn't some input gotten from local residents or from the Stop and Shop? Don't you think that keeping Stop and Shop informed and working cooperatively with them might have avoided the current lawsuit? And finally, would the council and the township attorney agree that avoiding lawsuits whenever possible is a good thing? Those are my questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Roberta. I am bringing in Paula Rogovan. Paula Rogovan.
Paula, you're on mute.
And cannot see your camera. All right, well, we wait for her to figure that out. I am bringing in Henry.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Go ahead.
One moment, just a second. I want to talk about the Stop and Shop situation. I live right near there. I love shopping there, and many other people do. And many people work there. So I want to urge you to make sure Stop and Shop can stay in our community. Today, I attended a seminar on Zoom from Mount Sinai Hospital Institute for Exposamic Research. And that's about, they do research about the impacts of multiple pollutants on babies in utero, after birth, on children, and the serious impacts of the pollution, multiple pollutants on adults. This is real stuff, and this is they presented scientific facts. We don't need new apartments or any other buildings, any other new buildings along American Legion Drive. We don't need every inch of our community in southwest of Teaneck to be developed, as is happening all over Teaneck. Every additional building means more car and truck traffic, more diesel sanitation trucks, more pollution from the burning of fossil fuels to heat the buildings, cool the buildings, more people living in the zone where the CSX trains idle with their diesel exhaust. These are cancer causing, these are illness causing, asthma, they cause asthma. This is really serious, a really serious health concern. And so we want no new buildings I want no new buildings in the American Legion Drive area. I also want to see more transparency, not more transparency, transparency and democracy in regarding Stop and Shop. I want to see the public fully informed about the facts. I want to see public participation in the process. And I want the committees that we have in town to be open to the public without people having to get permission. Then you won't get rumors and misinformation and the public even being accused by council members of not telling the truth. We don't even know what is actually going on. We need a democratic process. We need you to talk with the public, to listen, to hold public meetings, to hold forums. One of my questions is it true that the same person who was doing an investigation whether Stop and Shop is up to standards is the same person who comes from a company that hopes to be the redeveloper of the area? We, the residents, the taxpayers, the shoppers are in trouble. If this is true, this is a disgrace. So, let's come forward with information and public involvement and transparency in this process. Make it democratic. Thank you.
Paula. Bringing in Henry. Bringing in Henry. Trying to bring in Henry. There's Henry. Okay.
Henry,
you were muted.
Hello.
Dr. Pruitt, hello. 3
Can
minutes.
you hear me?
Sir. Yes, 3 minutes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I have a very delicate topic to bring up, and I'm not really sure how to bring it up, but there are a lot of people in town who are going through a tremendous amount of anguish financially. And I'll talk about Judy Disler, Jeremy Lenz, Michael Pagan, and Henry Pruitt, who have had checks washed and resubmitted for thousands of dollars. So the question I'm asking is it appropriate for us to caution people in Teaneck to not mail checks in Teaneck? The other question is, this problem seems to be more than a year old, and we need to know at what level we are at in terms of apprehending whoever it is that's done this. My question is this something that we should be concerned about, or am I just being overly concerned? That's it.
Thank you, Dr. Pruitt. We are hitting the mute button on you. That was an old reference, if anybody got that one. Bringing in Jesse Leon.
Good evening.
Hey, Jesse, 3 minutes.
How are you? I just first wanted to start out by thanking the mayor for giving us an update on the information regarding the chickens that have been coming in from the other towns. Doug, I just want to give you a heads up. I sent you a fresh Oprah for all that information. I'd love to see it too. So I expect you'll be just as prompt with that information as you were with the last batch, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much. After that, I wanted to address some of the concerns that Ms. Lightburn brought up because they're not new. I've been talking about them, and in every single draft ordinance I've submitted has actually addressed each of those concerns. Every single draft ordinance is required that chickens be kept in coops and runs, and that those be enclosed, and that chickens cannot run around freely. The language, I'm going to read it because it seems like no one else has. It says, all chicken hens shall be confined in structures conducive to the health and safety of both the chickens and the public. there is a license. This is why we're talking about this. You know, we're not saying that people should just be without knowledge or consent of the town getting chickens. That there is a baseline amount of due diligence that chicken owners need to do in Teaneck in order to be able to keep chickens. And the notice requirement that she's asking for sounds excessive. I don't know of any other animal or any other activity that people do on their own property that they're required to give notice to any of their neighbors. And I don't understand how that could be an expectation that we create for keeping one pet as opposed to any of the dozens of pets that I can keep in Teaneck right now, including a bison or a llama or an ostrich. And I'd be happy to show any of you guys the relevant law relating to those animals. And I just want to repeat that chickens are not louder than dogs. Roosters are louder than dogs. And again, every single draft ordinance that I've submitted has specifically banned roosters. No one is asking for the right to wake you up at 4 a.m. to the sound of a rooster crowing. We're asking for quiet chickens that don't cluck louder than the sound of normal human speech, that will not add significantly to the soundscape of Teaneck, that will not be disruptive, and that will be a quiet and calm pet for people to have in the enclosure of their own yards where they will not affect their neighbors, with layers upon layers of laws in case people fail to actually manage their property responsibly and create odors and situations that impose on their neighbors. So I would really once again urge everyone to read this ordinance, and I'd be happy to send it to anybody. If Miss Lightburn wants to get in touch with me, she can certainly do so through any of you guys. I know you all have my contact information. So please, I'm happy to discuss this issue with everybody in Teaneck who has any interest in it. And I would be, and I invite anyone to drop a line. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jesse.
Good night.
Thank you, Jesse. You dropped out there at the end. Hope all is well, sir. I am bringing in Howard Rose. Howard Rose. Howard Rose. Oh, at the final hour. There he is. I got to get you a new camera. 3 minutes, sir.
Thank you for being patient. These machines don't hook up as quickly as we would like. A couple of things. First, regarding the cannabis, it's not a question of whether or not the community wants it or doesn't want it. It seems to be pretty much a positive inclination for people. The question still remains where, and it still remains why not in a business district to have distribution areas. Regarding the Stop and Shop, yes, there's litigation. I'm certainly one of the people who's very well aware of that. I have a question on that right now. Why is a town property part of the condemnation, since the town has the ability to do what it wants with its own property? That's what confused me about the 200 feet area that is used to determine who can and can't participate. I was then a member of the planning board. I just didn't consider the parking lot as part of the site. I thought the Buddhist temple and the area around that, as well as the Stop and Shop. At any rate, regarding this Stop and Shop, please be aware, people in general, that this is something that will be coming up before the planning board, and that's where you should really focus, whether you're for it or not for it. That's the arena. Chickens. My son raises chickens, but he's a farmer, and they're a little smelly. They're mainly noisy when they're laying eggs. They're pretty quiet otherwise. In terms of being contiguous, I would assume that people want to put their coops near their property line, the furthest part they can from their home, which puts it as close as possible to someone else's home. So that has to be taken into consideration. Facts. I hope facts are made known. I know for a fact that chickens do not cause chicken pox. Fact. I'd like to know which came before, the chicken or the egg. Which one came first? I think it's the egg, but that's just an opinion. how many people in town really want these chickens, and how big an impact is it really going to have? Is it a handful of people who are ardent desiring this thing? Is it 100 families? Is it 500? I really doubt the 500 figure. The chances of having one next door to you are pretty slim. And I hope that people who decide to have it have sufficient amount of property to make it innocuous to their neighbors. That's basically it. I know that the eggs will be good, so I wish them luck with that. That's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Howard. I am 98% sure that the chicken came first, actually. I am now bringing in Chuck Powers. I'm trying to. Zoom is trying me tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Please be patient with my mouse here. All right, there he is. 3 minutes.
One of the purposes of a good and welfare is to ask questions with the people that we have elected to serve as our council. And they choose the people who carry out the administration of the town. I'd like the Dean, you know that I've been quite worried about the fact that there have been very substantial differences between what we had originally sought as numbers of police and fire and DPW, actually, as a result of last November's discussion. Would you tell us not just generalizations, but tell us what are the numbers of people that we have officially as goals as compared to what we actually have, and how long that has been going on? A second question. 2 members of this council told us, and I guess Mr. Jenkins may be here to tell us more about this tonight, that Stop and Shop had the choice of staying as is. Well, how could that be possible, given what it was that they were told about what it was that the township planned to do explicitly, and why in the world would Stop and Shop be suing us if in fact staying as is, or even their own renovation, was a possibility? Are we being told something about the settlement process, which of course no elected official is supposed to do, or is that just made up to try to salvage some sort of public support for it? And Mr. Dunleavy, one last issue with you. You began by saying that you didn't want to have community aggregation, but you actually made it into community aggravation rather than community, the entire process of CCA. I don't know why you're commenting on that, because this town, through its representatives, voted 2-1 to turn that matter over to, not to you, but to the manager. So why are you in the middle of it? These are questions that I think we need to have answered. We need to ask Mr. Kaplan why he thinks that the fact that people voted more than 2-1 in favor, not quite 2-1, for having cannabis in the state meant that they wanted it in their town. I don't understand how he gets to that, but I don't understand how Mr. Kaplan gets the most everything he says. Thank you very much. Be very nice to hear numbers, real stuff, rather than people just sort of taking.
Thank you, sir. I'm now bringing in Adam Gussie. Sometimes there's a lag when I'm bringing people in. I think we all pick that up now, but sometimes it takes a couple minutes for the connection to pan out. Mr. Gussin.
Good evening.
Good to see you, sir. 3 minutes.
Yeah, so I want to talk about chickens because Howard Rose brought up a few points that are important for us to discuss. It doesn't matter how many people in town want chickens. The town needs to demonstrate why it's appropriate to limit our rights. We know that chickens do not breed disease. We know that chickens eat bugs that do. We know that hens do not make noise. Roosters do, right? So there's a lot of things that we need to understand, but the town needs to understand that to limit our rights, there has to be a compelling reason. There is no compelling public health reason. There is no noise ordinance related reason that justifies limiting chickens. The resistance to this and the ongoing discussion about it is quite frankly insane. This council needs to act and move on. I'm just beside myself with the almost cowardice of just refusing to take action. Just get this done and then everyone can stop talking about the chickens and people can start talking about their eggs. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I am now bringing in Lisa Schwartz. Lisa Schwartz.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear, Ms. Schwartz.
Okay, great. Okay. So my name is Lisa Schwartz. I live at 698 Larch Avenue, and I just came on the meeting a little while ago, so I don't know if this has been addressed already, but I'm here to talk about the ShopRite in the area. So I've heard rumors, and some I think maybe rumors and some is fact. What I've heard is that Stop and Shop may be closing, and that the area was designated as a need for redevelopment, which is baffling to me. I don't understand that at all. And I know that there is a lawsuit by Stop and Shop. Recently, I sent an email, which went to the township manager, and I received an email back saying as follows. I have the email. Thank you for the email. Stop and Shop is not closing. Not sure where that information is originating from, but it's inaccurate. Please feel free to call my office if you needed any additional information. So I didn't have a chance to call the office, but I'm addressing it here tonight because it's kind of this email from the township counselor is different from what I'm hearing. So I would like an answer from the council tonight on what exactly is going on with Stop and Shop. Why I've lived in this town for 40 years. I was so excited when finally a supermarket was opening in the town that I can walk to, that people in the town can drive to. And now I understand that it may be closing and we will not have a supermarket in town, non-kosher supermarket. So I see Mr. Kaplan shaking his head. So, I would just like an answer on what is going on because we, the residents, do not know what's going on with Stop and Shop. So thank you.
Why, thank you very much, Ms. Schwartz. Bringing in Sandy Silverberg.
Good
Hello,
evening,
Sandy.
Hi. Where are you, Doug? I don't see you. Anyway, there you are. You popped up over there. I'll try to be quick. I only have 3 minutes anyway. I want to thank some people first. All of a sudden there were trees, and it was so wonderful. I sat down and wrote a little note to my favorite town manager about the trees. It's just terrific to see that. I also appreciate the flexibility that the town shows about altering the leaf collection calendar as the seasons and global warming shifts things. There was some flexibility there, and I think it's wonderful how that's being handled. It's really excellent. It's a tough job, but it's a well done job. I want to, before I get cut off, send all of the people that are listening tonight, whether it be on the council or some of our residents, a good, safe, and healthy, and therefore happy 2022. As we see, 2021 was not such an easy year. I suspect that 22 might not be so easy. So I think it's important for all of us. I'm wearing the farmer's market t-shirt to think about charitable giving. I have something to do with the Friends of the Library, and I hope that those of you who can will contribute. I also want to thank Karen at the Helping Hands Food Pantry. I dropped off a check yesterday, and I hope that other people can find it in their hearts to open the pocketbooks. It's been a really tough year. We all know the prices have gone up. So you can imagine at a food pantry, those little differences in inflation really make a huge difference. So if you can do $10, it's everything helps. And the Teaneck Volunteer Ambulance Corps, I popped by there the other day and made a contribution. I hope those of us who can do and support those things. The only thing I want to leave with is about civility. When we have meetings in person, people can't come and go. They can't keep moving around. They can't close themselves off. They have to sit there and take it. I can see that some of you are really struggling. You're tired, and I see some of you might not be feeling very well, and I appreciate that you're here. But I hope that the people coming to the meetings, and I hope that the people who are on the panel can say to themselves, you know what? We have concerns, we're all passionate, but let's not forget civility in the whole thing. And if we call each other out, let's do it as respectfully as we can, even if we.
I'm sorry, Sandy, the 3 minutes were up. I appreciate you, miss. I'm bringing in Aziz Usmani. While we wait for Aziz to connect, it's 10:50 right now. Should we extend to 11:30 while we're here?
I was going to do it right after everybody was speaking, but yes. Can I hear a motion to amend the time to 11:30?
Motion to go to 11:30.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Am I going to 11:30? Aziz, you're up.
Yes, hello all, and thank you everyone for being here and trying to do the best for the township. The reason why I called is about the chickens. I've been trying to attend as many meetings as I can and try to bring attention towards the unnecessary delay that I see. I'm sure other people don't see it that way, but I would like to just bring the attention towards the delay that's happening for one reason or another. I'm sure that you guys want to make sure that you take all the necessary steps. But I think that at some point in time, all of you might realize that we are taking just too much time to get this thing done. If New York City can allow chickens, I am sure Teaneck can. It's just a matter of having the intent to do it. I don't see any reason why we can't have it. And that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And to clean up that, we have Dr. Hoffman on deck. Is that the phrase that we would use, batter cleanup? I'm trying to pull at the nostalgia strings here.
Batting cleanup, but you got it.
Batting clean.
All right. Did I do this right?
Yeah. You look great.
If
3
it wasn't-
minutes.
Okay, if it wasn't for Howard Rose, I'd be the last person. First, it's good to see Reggie. It's nice to know when you say the word football, he knows that it's a round ball and not an oblong one. And I want to congratulate John and his 3 children and how well they are doing. It's wonderful to read about everyone's children on Facebook or when you hear that on live. So a mazel tov to all. I want to congratulate Kevin Airhill on his retirement and Mr. Romeo on his promotion. And I want to thank Dean and the administration for everything they do to make our township work as well as it does to make this a great place to live. I also want to thank all the volunteers, not just those on the advisory boards, but those who are coaches, those who are helping out in schools, those who are parents, and particularly the council members. We often forget for the little pen money that they earn that it's a 24/7 job, and you always are thinking about Teaneck. And so I thank you all for all of your help. We don't always agree, but I thank you for always thinking of our town and how to make it better. I wanted to bring up 2 particular points, having just come back from the American Society of Hematology meetings in Atlanta virtually. COVID is not going away, and there's going to be a lot more problems coming over the next few months. So when Dean is talking about being careful, you really need to do so because it's going to get worse before it gets better. With respect to the goose, the best way of getting rid of geese on our fields is synthetic turf. It's expensive, but you won't get any geese. But more importantly, in all of the years when I was president of Teaneck Junior Soccer League, remained on the board and the board of Teaneck Southern Little League and being involved in Teaneck Baseball Organization, no child ever ended up in an ICU because of an illness. Yes, mom and dad didn't like the shoes really moms didn't like the shoes walking in because dads usually didn't take their shoes off outdoors. And that's 30 years of being a volunteer. But the fact of the matter is this is really more of a psychosocial issue than a medical one. Paula brought up the issue of diesel fuel. As a cancer epidemiologist, I just want to bring up that it is a risk factor for lung cancer, no other illnesses, but it's such a small one that is really not something to worry about unless you're working in a diesel factory. Finally, I should mention, like Howard always did, I'm not talking as the PPR chair or the chair of the Most Advisory Board, but I also request or ask or consider people who are interested in working for our town and for our citizens to apply for all the advisory boards. I mean, PPRAB has 2 openings right now. We'd love to get them filled. We'd love to have people who really want to make Teaneck a better place. And on that note, I wish everyone a wonderful holiday, a safe and healthy and joyous new year. And Reggie, it's really good to see you. And we can talk about soccer anytime you want.
Thank you, Dr. Mayor. I see no more hands at this time.
Okay, great. So that closes good and welfare for this evening. We'll move on to comments from council. And tonight we will start with Mike.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank Money Magazine for writing an article saying that Teaneck is one of the top 10 places to retire in America, because it is. Teaneck has always been known nationally as a great place to live, work, and raise a family. And now the country also knows that we are a great place for retirees as well. I would like to congratulate Rabbi Chaim Straukler of Congregation Renat Yisrael. I went to his installation ceremony this past Sunday, and it was a beautiful event. I would also like to thank and congratulate Rabbi Yosef Adler on his retirement and wish him all the very best going forward in his retirement. I also want to say thank you to Palisades Park Mayor Chris Chung and DK Cosmetics of Ridgefield for donating a pallet of free hand sanitizer to Teaneck earlier today, which can definitely be used and will be very helpful. As for Stop and Shop, I too live in Southwest Teaneck, and Stop and Shop is not and was never leaving Teaneck. So please don't be alarmed by any misinformation that might be floating around out there on social media. Concerning the hospital, I want to remind residents that a majority of our township is fully vaccinated due to having a first-rate hospital located within our borders. And more than 170,000 COVID-19 vaccines were administered at the Richard Rhoda Community Center during the height of this pandemic, which is still ongoing due to the new variants. And that's just something to please bear in mind as folks continue to express their personal opinions on this topic. When it comes to chickens, you all know that I support this initiative because it can be done. It just has to be done the right way, which we are still figuring out because we have to do our due diligence. As for cannabis, more than 10,000 Teaneck residents voted to support this initiative, and every step of the process has been transparent, and it continues to be transparent because transparency is the cornerstone of this council and everything that we do so that our residents are informed about what is happening in town. As for checks being stolen from the post office, several arrests were made in October, but the case is still open and the investigation is still ongoing due to thefts of checks still taking place, according to the post office police. So I am personally hoping for all of our residents that all of those criminals get arrested soon. I also want to say thank you to our staff at City Hall for organizing our Christmas tree lighting last week. It was a beautiful event, and so was our menorah lighting the week before that. And lastly, Mr. Mayor, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, a Happy Three Kings Day, a Happy Kwanzaa, and a safe and happy holiday season. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's my time.
Thank you, Councilmember Pagan. Okay, Councilmember Rice.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm struggling to get through this meeting. I'm hanging in there. Always thank you to all the residents that tune in to voice their concerns and their opinions about this beautiful town that they care so deeply about. I did want to find out if there were any other recommendations that we can offer to our residents with regard to the challenges we're having with checks. If there's any police information or information that we could perhaps post on the website, since there does seem to be a continuation of those issues. I hope that we can provide further clarity as to all the concerns about Stop and Shop, and offer truth in what is taking place. Also, I just want to wish everyone a happy holiday. Thank you to Dean, the staff, all that were involved in our tree lighting and menorah lighting, and pray for a safe and healthy new year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Feel better. Councilmember Kaplan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I also wanted to wish a Merry Christmas and Happy Kwanzaa to all the members of the public. Between attending the menorah lighting and seeing the tree lighting, it was really wonderful seeing so many of our residents coming out and enjoying each other, even if some did have some very questionable taste in sweaters. I wanted to quickly provide well, first I wanted to thank Mr. Powers for asking about the numbers I gave. I'm happy to give a little clarity on the cannabis vote. It was 2.7 to 1, not 2 to 1 that I mentioned. And that was not actually the state tally. That was the Teaneck vote only. The state was a little different, but that's why I said it applied to our town. That was the Teaneck vote. When it comes to information, first and foremost, the manager speaks for the town. He's the administrative head of the town. If he tells you that Stop and Shop is not closing down or being demolished or forced out or whatever rumors some rumor mongers are spreading around, trust the manager. He is right, and those fearmongers should be mindful that they can hurt a business by that. And it actually does hurt the business. When people hear rumors that Stop and Shop is possibly shutting down, they don't want to shop there. And that's the last thing we as a community want to do. We want a successful supermarket that's strong for our residents. So if you're spreading that rumor, realize you are hurting the very place that you're ostensibly trying to support. Regarding the area in need of redevelopment, I want to make sure the public understands a few of the basics. The decision on whether the planner should review the American Legion Drive area was done at a public meeting. It was noticed, and it was at a council meeting. The public spoke at the meeting. The plan about the area in need of redevelopment went to the planning board, and that was also public and noticed, where members of the public had a chance to speak. I mention this because sometimes it's difficult to reach people when you're constrained by the requirements of state law. We as a body cannot act outside of a meeting. Inside of a meeting, it's hard to reach a greater audience. So there's a bit of a push and a pull there. Now, there are issues that we can't provide information about, things like pending litigation. That said, I think the public deserves some info. And to that end, I asked a planner that's not working on the Stop and Shop case why an entity would sue in that kind of situation. And what I was told, the answer was given that there are times a property owner may want changes to the plan. If they don't sue, the options are to take the plan, which may not be exactly what they want, or to say no. And sometimes a plan is what they want, but it's not exactly the way the plan is. So if you can hold up the works just a little bit and gain a little leverage while you discuss changes and tweaks, you can make a better plan for yourself as a landowner in that area, and you can make a better plan for the community at large. And I would suggest that anybody that has questions to go and take a look at the filings and see if that is something that rings true for you, but I cannot speak to the pending litigation itself. Any other questions? As Ms. Garvin and others said, please feel free to always reach out. I'm here for any residents, kkaplan@tnecnj.gov, and be happy to answer your questions. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilmember Kaplan. Councilmember Organ.
Hi, I don't really have that much to add to what everybody said. Karen McAvoy, thank you for all that you do and for your kind words. And Beverly Garvin, I'm so happy that we were able to help. I've been working in Englewood and I drive over your rumble strips every day, and I'm really glad that they're there. To Ramona and Roosevelt, thank you for speaking so eloquently. Thank you to all of our veterans for your service. And Dr. Hoffman and Sandy Silverberg, if I could combine what the two of you said, that is what's in my heart today. I'm grateful for everybody that speaks civilly and speaks from the heart and is actually looking for an answer to their questions. And anyone can reach out to us at any time. We are always available and we do answer and are looking to help. I also wish everybody a very happy and healthy 2022, a wonderful holiday season spent with friends and family, and doing good things for other people. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Organ. Deputy Mayor Schwartz.
Yes, thank you very much, and I'll be brief since everyone made some great comments before me. In addition to the public meetings on American Legion Drive, there were additional public meetings, first forming a subcommittee to discuss American Legion Drive, then hiring the planners on American Legion Drive, then the council meeting, then the planning board meeting, then back to the council meeting. This has been a very open process. What it was approved was an area needed redevelopment, non-condemnation plan. Stop and Shop is not being demolished unless they demolish it themselves. Stop and Shop can move if they want. Stop and Shop can renovate if they want. The choices remain Stop and Shop. There's nothing much more to add on that other than what an attorney may want to add as it relates to whatever their lawsuit's about, as it relates to future plans in the area. But there's one thing I wanted to comment on that two residents stated about both American Legion Drive and Alfred Avenue, that there was nothing wrong with that. There was nothing that needed to be redeveloped or improved in those areas. And I think that's something I think we all can agree is not correct. Those areas have a tremendous amount of opportunity for growth, for rehabilitation, revitalization. And I look forward to, over the next few years, I have another 36 and a half months of my term. I look forward to working with everyone on those areas. I'd also be remiss if I did not thank my campaign manager who spoke earlier today. I just want to thank Alan Sohn for his words about you've been Schwartzed. You've been Schwartzed was your taxes haven't gone up. We haven't hired additional staff, and we are doing everything good government should be doing to keep our costs in check. So I thank you, and we'll be in touch to plan future campaign events. Happy holidays, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Schwartz. Deputy Mayor Katz.
Thank you.
How are you, Mayor? do want to just add that one of the additional plans for that area by Stop and Shop was to try to bring in more additional parking for Cedar Lane and to try to enhance the Cedar Lane Business District area. And that was also the council's impetus for moving forward with these plans. I just wanted to also take this opportunity to thank all the residents that came out, but also thank everybody that's watching at home and wish them a happy and healthy holiday season and look forward to seeing you back in next year. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Katz. I just have one or two comments and then we'll move on, and I may ask Reggie if he has any comments relative to the situation. I think the Stop and Shop situation is an excellent example of people getting their news from bad places. You have to be very, very careful when you go on social media. It is not vetted. People are not making phone calls, and I can assure you that nobody called Dean, nobody called me, nobody called anyone who would be in the know as to what was going on with Stop and Shop before all that stuff hit social media. Okay, there's a reason why they call it social media, because they have no boundaries, they have no rules, they do not have to meet a standard. And unfortunately, a number of people got very upset over something that they didn't have to become upset about. It really raises the question as to when you say transparency, just how transparent that is. I don't think it is. I think the township needs to do a better job, as I think all do. We can always do a better job in communicating. And to that end, I've called a meeting with the manager later this week to talk about different ways in which we can better communicate on a regular basis everything that the township needs to know about, and know about it factually. So you're getting it from the source, and you're not getting it from someplace who somebody read something out of context on Tuesday and thought it was a really cool thing, so they posted it. That's not the way you should know what's going on in this town. So we're going to work towards a better communication tool. But in the end, I urge you all to please, please double and triple check what you're being told before you go out there and start spreading rumors and things that just aren't true. And as you found out with this situation, this is not true. So I hope you hear that. Briefly, I want to thank Roosevelt and for saying those very nice things. And thank you to all the veterans. My only thing, Reggie, Reggie Roosevelt, is when you do get on Zoom with us, we have to see the shoes. Every time you come on, we got to see the shoes. So I'm very disappointed. I liked what you said, but I didn't see the shoes. Mr. Powers, I'll just say this about your comment relative to my involvement in doing the energy aggregation. Yes, I was against it, absolutely. But the public spoke, and I'm their mayor. And as such, I have to follow what the public wants. And so I am fully engaged in doing the best possible job with the council, with the manager, to come up with the best possible plan that will be given to the residents so they can see it, so they can look at it and see exactly what it is that they're going to be doing, so they can make an informed decision. But for me not to be involved in it would probably be, well, I just think wrong, because that's my responsibility and I take it very seriously. In terms of the post office, I wish we could do more at a town level. We know it's happening in many other places too, unfortunately, not just Teaneck. We know that the Postal Service Police is quote unquote on it. Okay. We can talk to our congressional people to see if they can light a little fire under them and see if they can do more. But it's a very difficult situation for many places right now. And I just hope that please make sure when you're sending money in the mail You do it in a way that, it is a protection to you. And just be very careful right now, because it can happen to anybody, okay? I think that's all I have, so, okay. Moving on. Let's move to the consent agenda, and Doug, if you could read the bill list, please.
Mayor, did the attorney want to speak for a second?
Oh,
I
I'm sorry.
apologize.
You're absolutely right. No, you're absolutely right.
All good,
One
all
day. I'm sorry, Reggie.
All good, it's fine,
You've been here patiently. I'm very sorry.
Thank you
Please.
very much. First of all, good evening, everyone. And I just want to, briefly but strongly echo what the mayor said, what Deputy Mayor Schwartz said, and what Councilman Kaplan said with regard to Stop and Shop. There has been no request that Stop and Shop leave. There has been no intent that Stop and Shop leave, nor is there any mechanism to force them to leave or to demolish their store. It's been actually made since very clear to them that we want them to stay. We want them to stay. We want them to thrive. And the area in need is done as a mechanism, not to force anybody out, but to understand and design and study the best zoning to allow for that development to thrive. So I cannot comment on the details of the litigation, echoing what Councilman Kaplan said, but I will say that what we're looking to do is we've been in very good and productive conversations. We are looking to de-escalate this, and hopefully we are on a very quick and good path to having a resolution that is going to be the benefit of to TNEC as well as to Stop and Shop specifically. But again, I cannot state it strongly. They're not moving. We're not looking for them to move. We're not looking for them to demolish. We are looking for them to thrive and to be a part of this community for as long as they would like to be in this community.
Thank you, Reggie. Very much appreciated. And again, I apologize. You've been very patient. John, did you want to add anything to that? I don't know.
I think Reggie just said it all.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's move on to the consent agenda. And Doug, if you could read the bill list, please.
Yes, so Mayor, we are considering tonight on the consent agenda. Let me get to that page. I apologize. I muddled my agenda up. We have 4 raffles on, 2 minutes. Resolutions 309 to 331-2021, and the bill list in the amount of $7,800,971 and a whopping 94 cents.
All right. Does anyone, before we move it, does anyone have anything they want to pull? All right, seeing none. Then I'll entertain a motion to move.
Motion Schwartz.
Second.
Okay, Doug?
Councilwoman Rami Rice,
Yes, with an abstention on the bills list.
Councilman Magan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Oregon,
Yes.
Councilman Kaplan. Oh, okay. Deputy Mayor Schwartz.
Yes, all.
Sorry,
Deputy
yes.
Mayor, Deputy Mayor Katz,
Yes, with an abstention on the bills list.
and Mayor Dunleavy.
Yes,
Ordinance, consent agenda adopted, sorry.
thank you. All right, introduction of ordinances. Doug, if you could read in the titles, please.
Yes, indeed. Sorry, John, a quick note here. So we are introducing a few separate ordinances tonight. First up, we have ordinance 58-2021 to amend and revise the development regulations of the Code of the Township of Teaneck, Article 5, Chapter 33, Sections 33-23 and 33-25 with respect to conditional use standards, and Section 33-24 with respect to non-governmental uses within the P Public Land District. We have ordinance number 59-2021, amending Section 36-12 of Division 2 of Article 2 of Chapter 36 entitled Traffic of the Code of the Township of Teaneck, respecting prohibited parking at all times along a portion of Jefferson Street between Rutland Avenue and Ogden Avenue. We have ordinance number 60-2021, amending ordinance number 28-2021, establishing positions and salary ranges for executive, managerial, professional, and confidential employees and for unclassified municipal employees in the Township of Teaneck, effective January 1, 2021, to add thereto part-time employees. We have ordinance number 61-2021, amending Chapter 2, Charter Administrative Code of the Township of Teaneck to amend Appendix 5, Personnel Policies and Procedures for Excluded Employees. And everyone will see in their agenda packet that we had ordinance number 62-2021, which we unanimously approved to pull at the beginning of our open session meeting. So I will not be reading that into the agenda.
Great. Okay, thank you, Doug. Council, does anyone have anything they want to discuss?
Yep, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Kaplan, go ahead.
On ordinance 58-2021, I had spoken with the attorney, and since we are required to follow state law regardless of whether it's in our code or not, Section 1 is just a reiteration of the state code. So I'd like to make a motion to strike Section 1 from 58-2021.
Second, discussion.
I'm sorry, Councilman. Can you just repeat that one section, please?
Yes, Section 1 of 58-2021.
Just section 1.
Yep.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Oregon.
in the same ordinance, I'd like to remove section 4D.
We have to vote on the first one first?
I can amend the motion to cover both if you want.
Will that be acceptable to Councilmember Oregon?
Yeah, I wanted to remove 4D and 5 in section 4.
All right, so
Section 1, 4D, and 5.
Yeah.
I think it's 4D5.
Okay, so the motion,
4D5.
As in, sorry, Mayor. 4, like it's just late. I'm sorry. I'm trying to
that's
follow
all right,
along.
go ahead.
So you're saying it's like section 4D-5? It's not, I
Yeah.
just want to make sure I'm
Yeah.
understanding correct.
It's confusing because there's a 1, it goes from 1 to 5. So I want to remove 5.
Doug, it's like section 4, subsection D, subsection 5.
And I have a question for the attorney, or would we leave that for discussion? What do we do, Mr. Mayor?
Okay, let's first clear up what we're discussing, okay? On the floor right now is a motion to strike section 1 and then to strike subsection 4, subsection B, number 5. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what's on the floor right now for
I
discussion.
have a motion, Mr. Mayor.
I'm sorry?
I have a motion as well.
Okay, hold. Mark, you wanted to say something and then
I'll defer to Deputy Mayor Katz.
Okay,
Mr. Mayor, it's obvious that there's not support for this complete ordinance the way it's written. I'd like to make a motion to table this ordinance.
Second.
discussion, motion to table 58-21.
And Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion, sorry.
I apologize, Deputy Mayor. What, are we dropping Councilman Kaplan's
So
motion?
this is where a parliamentarian is helpful. A motion to table takes precedence on the floor, and there's no discussion on a motion to table. So Deputy Mayor Katz has made a motion to table that will get a vote first, and if it passes, it's tabled. If it fails, it goes back to my motion.
Right. He is correct. All right, so we're then voting on a motion to table.
That was seconded by Councilman Began.
Yep.
The discussion on the motion, or there's no discussion, Mr.
No
Custer?
No discussion on the
No, not on a
motion.
motion to table.
I am now to call the roll.
Right. On the motion to table 58.
Councilwoman Romney Rice,
Yes, to motion to
Councilman-
table.
Councilman Began,
Yes.
Councilwoman Organ,
No,
Councilman Kaplan,
No.
Deputy Mayor Schwartz,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Katz,
Yes.
Mayor Dunleavy.
No.
So I just want to reiterate, I had a no from Mayor Dunleavy, Councilwoman Organ, and Councilman Kaplan.
Motion is passed.
It is indeed passed. Ordinance 58 is tabled.
Okay.
Do we have a date that we would like to table it to? I believe I require that in this parliamentary procedure.
Okay, adding it to the next meeting.
January 4th, 2022. Right? I just want to make sure
No,
everyone
it's,
agrees with
Doug,
that.
it's tabled until it's reintroduced.
Until it's, yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't go to a specific
Just
date.
stays on the
You're
table.
right, because we haven't even introduced it. Thank you.
Anybody for a motion for reconsideration before we close up shop?
Okay. So where we're at now is any more comments on 59, 60, and 61? Okay, hearing none. I'd like to move ordinance number 59, 60, and 61.
That was your motion, Mayor?
Yeah.
We need a second.
Second.
Councilman Began, Councilman Romney Rice,
Yes,
Councilman Began,
Yes.
Councilwoman Organ,
yes,
Councilman Kaplan,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Schwartz,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Katz,
Yes.
Mayor Dunleavy.
Yes.
So we have 59, 60, and 61 are introduced. 58 is tabled, 62 was pulled.
Correct. Okay. Seeing nothing more on the agenda, hear a motion to adjourn.
We have 6 minutes left in our extension. Are you sure?
We have a motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? All right.
Aye.
Bye.
Guys, everybody who's celebrating, if I don't see you, have a great holiday.
Yeah, see you next year.
Yep.
Holiday.
Bye.
Bye.
Happy holidays.
Bye.